Welcome to Trail Manners, the podcast so dedicated to mountain trails and running that they broadcast out of a 78 Volkswagen bus in the mountains. Who does that? Eric and Joel are your hosts and will bring you the trail life as you may have not heard it before. You hear about everything from gear reviews, nutrition to keep you upright and moving forward, and they'll even bring guests into the bus for conversations that you won't hear anywhere else. It's time for some running adventures on a higher elevation. The old 78 Volkswagen bus is fired up and headed to the mountains. Here are your hosts for Trail Manners, proudly representing the 801 with their passion and love for the trails. Eric Manning and Joel Hatch.
This episode of the Trail Manners podcast is sponsored by Health IQ. Health IQ uses science and data to secure lower rates on life insurance for health-conscious people, including runners, cyclists, strength trainers, vegans, and more. That's right, Health IQ rewards us for our lifestyle choices. Go to healthiq.com/Trail Manners to support the show and learn more about how you can save money on life insurance. Welcome to the Trail Manners podcast, episode 104. Today, we're going to be talking with Sylvia Greer. If this is your first time listening, then thanks for coming. The Trail Manners podcast is produced every week for your enjoyment, and show notes are found at trailmanners.com. Come back often, and please feel free to add the podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Trail Manners. All links are in the show notes. Now let's get after it. All right, welcome back to another edition of the Trail Manners podcast, episode 104. And we are in Studio 78, barely.
Yes.
At Nordic Valley Ski Resort, home of the Nordic Valley 7K up in a couple weeks.
Right. What day is that on?
It's a Saturday, December 16th.
Ah, very good.
You tested me.
I did.
I was like, crap, I'm going to get the date wrong, and I'm supposed to be here. But yeah, the bus wouldn't start today, so it got a little scary.
Mm-hmm.
We made it. We may not make it home, but we'll at least get the show in.
That's what
it's about.
Counts, right?
That's what it's about. So as you heard in the intro, we have got just an awesome guest with us today. Super excited to have her on. Sylvia. Sorry.
We're kind of in the middle of our 200-mile series.
Yeah, we're on this hook.
Right?
We're hooked right now.
Yeah. So we've got, she's our middle guest. So our first guest was Ben Light.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So we have this awesome runner.
That's right.
And then the following week, we have another runner that's done a 200-miler.
Yep.
So we're doing this little series. I like it.
Oh, who's coming in?
The trifecta, should we say?
Well, no, let's not do that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but let's introduce her because we're not done yet.
Okay.
We haven't said who she is.
I kind of did. Her first name.
Which is?
Sylvia.
And her last name?
Greer.
Oh.
Am I right?
You're right.
Oh, man, that's always nervous,
I
right?
know.
Because we've never met you.
No.
Yeah, no.
And so
I just know you through social media.
Yeah. That's scary.
That's scary.
Yeah.
No.
It is.
But
no, it's a good thing.
You think so?
I think so. Yeah.
We're okay on there. We keep it professional business.
We do.
We try. Yeah. But yeah, we've never met you. So sometimes for us, that's the difficult part, right? Because we'll have guests on the show that we know, and so the interaction is like normal, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that right?
So difficult as in you're not sure if it's going to work out.
No.
We can tell this is going to work already.
Yeah, we can tell.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, I mean,
Okay.
pretty much anybody we get in, we know will because
Yeah.
of who they are or what they do. I mean, it's kind of that we talk about all the time. It's that trail running tribe of people.
It is.
You just have that in common automatically.
Yeah.
And so the ice is broken. It's not like you're,
Well, that's good.
meeting someone for the first time.
It's not like it's a blind date.
Yeah, because it's like, hey, what's up? You don't look like Tinder.
Yeah, exactly.
What year was your photo posted?
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
That came with your wallet, man.
Oh, do they still do that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I see that all the time.
You do.
Yeah, my OP wallet, the Velcro
OP.
corduroy wallet.
There's nothing wrong with those.
Oh
Velcro works well.
Yeah.
It's a good product.
Yeah, that's a fun story from a sales meeting. But yeah, we're at Studio 78 here at Nordic Valley. You live right close by.
I do, yeah.
And we warned you before we came on the show. I sent a little message saying, hey, just be ready. It's outside.
Yep.
In a really cold bus.
Mm-hmm.
The heater's broke, the one we don't have.
Right.
So dress warm. So I think we're okay warmth-wise. We all got coats, puffies,
and hats.
beanies.
Yeah.
Doors
I
shut.
typically try to come prepared for whatever weather, right?
Right.
And
trail.
we did
It's
good.
at that.
And the Mother Nature, she's helping.
She
It's
is.
61 outside
I
right
know,
now.
right? It's like,
I know.
oh my gosh.
We actually need some snow.
Yeah, we do.
It can snow up here, but not down
Yeah,
Not
here's
then.
now. We could wait
Yeah.
a little bit.
Until after December 16th?
Mm,
8K?
No, we need a
No,
lot
you
before
want
that.
We
snow
need a
on the
lot
8K.
before then.
Yeah.
We want
Yeah.
the snow like right here, but not down the valley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many inches of snow do we need for the race? For right today, what do you think would be good?
Yeah. What do
Like,
you, what do
for
you
the
want up there?
race?
Yeah, for the race.
Yeah,
December
what do you want up
16th,
there?
how many inches do we need for sure by December 16th would you be happy with?
If we had 30 inches
Okay.
30.
So
Wow.
we need
back back in there, right?
Back
Just
in
think how
there.
much it needs to pack down.
Yeah. It
Right?
needs to pack down.
so we
needs to
need
pack down.
30
So 30 inches of packed? Ooh, that's
No, if we had
No.
30 inches, how much would that pack down? Half?
half.
So
Yeah.
we need at least 30 more people to register to make 30 inches of snow.
Oh, I like where you're going with
You
that.
like that?
That was good.
I like how I snuck that in
Yeah,
there.
I mean, if
I'll
it's
be
cold
one.
enough, they're going to blow snow, right? So
Yeah.
we've got
Count
that
me in.
covered.
Yeah, totally
Yeah.
unscripted
Yeah.
sales pitch right
That's
there.
going to happen this whole this whole interview.
Yeah, right. Oh, by the way.
7K. 7K.
Exactly.
But yeah, so we got Sylvia. And those that don't know Sylvia, I don't know where you've been.
Oh,
Um,
dear. I
I
don't know
know.
about that.
But we're just going to start right out of the gate. I'm going to do a quick little, kind of some stuff you've done before.
Okay.
And I'm going to miss stuff because I always do. And then
That's
we're just
all
going
right.
to kind of get into you a little bit to,
Okay.
let people get to know you. And then we're going to get into the business end of this thing, right? So you've done like the Bear 100
Yeah.
3 times.
What?
Yeah. See? That's what I'm saying. That's what Bear 100 3 times, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You've done Zion 100. You've done Western States.
Yes.
Right?
What?
Uh-huh.
See? Joel's like, eyes are getting big. Grand Canyon 100, Wasatch 100. You've done El Vaqueros and Speed Goats, River No Return. So you've done a lot of the races,
She is a veteran.
right?
I don't
I
know.
like
Does
it.
that make me a veteran?
Yeah,
It does,
for
totally.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah. If you get into Western States, you're just a veteran by default.
Yeah, right?
right? Nothing
That
else
was luck.
matters.
That
You
was
can-
pure luck.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's how it usually
Was that
works.
like your first try?
Yeah.
Are you
Can you
kidding
believe
me?
that?
So you just
No.
lost
She
friends.
she did not even need to sit in that seat.
I don't even want to tell people that because people
Try for
will
years
tell
and years
me
and
how
years.
many years they've been trying, and I have this little bit of guilt. But truly, I
One
don't
try.
know.
Now, little known fact: anybody that sits in that seat,
Yes.
lottery luck all day long.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, because I put in for Hard Rock for let's see,
Congratulations.
You got in.
the 4th or 5th year.
Oh, you're in there.
This is my 4th or 5th year they've tried.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll start training.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You need to start getting some vert. There's a race on December 16th here at Nordic. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
That's
Perfect.
1,200 feet of climbing in the
No,
first mile.
that is the lucky seat. We have people come in
I'm
here and they're like,
thrilled.
"Oh, I never get into Wasatch. I never
Right.
get into Hard Rock. I never get into." And it's like, boom, you're in. Boom,
Yeah.
you're
Oh
in.
man. Okay, I'm gonna rub the side here.
And me and Joel never sit there. Well, Joel does, I guess, sometimes,
Sometimes.
but he doesn't want to get into anything.
I'm
No.
honored. Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Anytime.
So with your races, you're running. How did you get into these things? Because you've done some iconic races. You've done some obviously 100s, things like that. How'd you get into that type of thing?
So I've always kind of been a runner. I started young, just doing track. Then I ran track in high school. Funny enough, I did the long distance, which was the 800,
800
right?
meter.
Yeah.
The 4 and the 800, which are miserable.
Oh, they hurt.
And then running is a huge release for me. So I just continued on with that. I did several, let's see, I did 38 road marathons before.
Oh, see, we purposely left that off.
I started to feel like I wasn't achieving what I initially planned out. And so then I registered for the Mid-Mountain Marathon in
that's a
Park
good one.
City, which is a trail one. And I finished and I thought, what have I been doing on the road? What is wrong with me?
That's awesome.
Because I grew up in the mountains and I trained in the mountains and
Right.
I just didn't put those two together. Like there's races on the trail, Sylvia. So I started doing trails and I loved it.
Yeah.
And then I slowly progressed from there. I saw that there was a 50K and I thought, no way. I cannot go 6 extra miles. There's no way. But I started doing 50Ks and loved those.
Right.
And your first one where you always do more mileage, it's
Right.
just like death.
Yep.
But for some reason, there's something that attracts me to that, pushing my limits. So then I started looking into 50s. 50s turned into 100s, and I thought that was it.
Right.
There can't be anything worse than 100. And then I found this small niche of 200s and just thought, there's no way. Who would do that? Why? But it intrigued me enough that
you
signed
dove
up.
head in, didn't you?
Yeah, my first. Can I say that? Is that too early to talk about that?
No.
Not at all.
My first 200 was Colorado, actually.
Oh yeah.
The Colorado 200.
Are they still doing that?
They
No, they didn't this year, sadly. Yeah. It was small, but the thing that got me is on Facebook they said they hadn't had a woman finish before, and so I was intrigued by that.
Come hell or high water, right?
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try. And so I signed up, but when I hit register, I thought, take it back. What have I done? Oh, because doubling your distance, I mean, going from a marathon to a 50K, and that's pretty gradual, but going from 100 to 200 is pretty significant, right? And I knew how awful I felt after the 100, and I thought, what is in store for me? But I did run Colorado, and it was unbelievable.
You finished?
Terrain. I did. I was the first woman to finish.
What year was that?
It was just 2 years ago, actually. And last year, they didn't have enough people registered, so they did not put that race on. It's a beautiful and amazing race. I think that the time frame of where it's put into place, it's either right before or right after Hard Rock. And so I think that if the time of year was different, I feel like they'd have more people register, but it was an incredible race.
Well, do you know, just going back to being the first female finisher that kind of got you to that point, you know there's another race out there that we talk about that has 0 female finishers too. So does that intrigue you, the Barclays?
Are you talking about the Barclays?
Well, I'm just saying.
We talked about it on the way up here.
We did. We're like, because there's been no female finishers.
I know. Yeah, it's very intriguing. I don't want to be arrogant like that. That's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at navigational skills, so I think that would be my downfall.
Yeah. I think that's a lot of what that one is
for
anybody,
mean, you
really.
see the runners that are doing that, and these elite runners. I'm just a regular person, and you get these.
They're all regular people.
Really.
No, there's like elite runners there.
Yeah, but they're still regular.
They are. They're still regular.
They are regular, but I don't know. I just feel like if I could figure out how to get in, I would give it a shot for sure. I mean, let's see. It's been a couple weeks.
That was not a categorical no. Like most sane
people are like no.
Most
desire.
sane people
it
would be
intrigues
like,
me.
no.
Just to even do a loop, it intrigues me.
Just to do a loop, and then next year she would. I'm telling you, man, these 200 milers have an addiction problem.
It is
an addiction problem. Healthy, I don't know. Questionable.
Yes.
It's debatable.
Questionable, I think, is probably where
it
we
is,
put that one.
Mm-hmm.
But I just recently saw Where Dreams Go to Die.
Yeah.
Right.
In Ogden.
Mm-hmm.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
I was getting butterflies. Like, I don't know. There's something about that race that I just feel like I need it in my life.
I'm
oh my gosh!
I am.
This is like full on confessional.
I'm telling you, you get in the bus behind a mic.
Somebody help me!
I know.
I'm full on still.
Tell me.
I've been to that film viewing. I've been to the other one, and still zero desire.
Zero desire.
Zero desire
I know
to do
there's
that
something
race.
wrong.
Yeah.
There's something wrong.
You need to start cozying up to Jared.
Yeah, we know some people that they could
They
get
kinda
you
know
hooked
But
up.
at the same
process.
time, like they had to figure out too, so you don't want to take advantage of people who know.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
There's kind of that, you talk to those people, because we know a few people that have done it, and it's almost not like that in a way, because it's almost like the same thing with 100-mile races. I mean, there's only a few people that did them, and it's just kind of like introducing people to it, because even if they tell you every nuance, what is that? How big a percentage is that going to help you really?
No, it's
You know
like
what I mean?
Well, it's like getting
reading
in
all.
and-
Sorry, Joel.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No,
it happens.
What were you going to say?
I don't even know.
Oh man, how rude of me.
I was saying it's about figuring out how to get in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And all that stuff. And once you kind of figure out the time frame and where you're supposed to send it,
Haiku.
even then you might not get in because he
exactly.
might not choose you.
Yeah.
Well, there's 40 runners.
Right. And then if you did get
hundreds,
in,
thousands apply.
then it's about, okay, Jared, tell me everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, he does choose a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I would be okay if that's what I was.
That's how you fill out your form.
Yes.
Right?
I want
if they
to
send a
be-
photo, you just put a photo of a lamb.
Do
That's
you
me.
send a photo?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know what the entry
would it
process
help me
is.
to like wear high heels and a dress and be like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
I don't think that.
Laz would giggle.
Yeah, I don't know. He's weird.
He's a
It
character.
would be hard to figure him out,
Yeah.
right?
I'm not sure that you want
yeah.
to.
Well, there we go. Somewhere we weren't even thinking about, and I mean, it's almost like she's ready to go.
She is ready to go. She probably has a compass in her car.
I don't. That's my
Compass.
problem. That's my problem. That would be my biggest. I feel like
think
in
so.
the daytime, I have a pretty good memory, but at night, it absolutely changes. You're not going to see
even
the
if
things
you-
you saw in the day,
and
then
you
you start
reverse
to get
directions.
tired. And
Yeah.
I mean, I got lost in Moab. That's another story. I'm jumping the gun.
That's
So,
okay. We'll get there.
With flags, So then I think, Sylvia, don't do that. What's wrong with you?
But then you'll find yourself
Mm-hmm.
wandering in the mind. I can do that. I'm going to find a way. That's what's going to happen.
She's going to.
Yeah. Well, we've kind of come to
Okay,
that
so
conclusion.
So we're
let's
putting it
wrap
out
this
there.
up. If you do get in,
Yeah.
and you'll be okay. Let's say that you don't get in this next year,
Yeah.
because I think the application process is
Yeah,
right
I think
nowish.
it's already nowish. You're
Yeah.
right.
So
And
we're
I think
talking
it takes
2019.
place in
So
April.
2019, you're the first female finisher.
Wow, that's
Can
really
we talk to you first?
admirable.
Oh, Joel's putting you on the spot now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm feeling put on the spot because that's wow, that is a hard thing to wrap around.
Yeah, but I like commitment.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
So-
absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
We got it.
'Kay.
Yeah.
We got it booked.
All right.
Oh man.
That's awesome. I'm going to write that in the show. Like, I got to put that in my phone as a reminder.
Oh, I don't think
Yeah.
you'll need a reminder.
This time next year, it'll remind Sylvia to sign up.
Remember
Right,
that?
exactly.
Remember that arrogant girl? Yeah. Go
Yeah.
find her.
You know, that's the
Let's
thing.
see how many laps she got done
Oh, I
and
know.
laugh in her face.
If you got one done, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. With
Right.
that
Well,
race.
Jenny Lynn
Yep.
Yeah.
Eaton. Yeah, she's amazing.
Michael Wardian. If anybody's ever heard of him.
You only got one in. Jenny
Yeah.
Lynn got.
3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah, first
she's
time.
the first woman to do the fun run.
Yeah.
Mhm.
First
She should be
time.
in this seat.
We've had her on
she's
twice.
She's never been in that
No,
seat though.
we've had her at a coffee shop and
Right.
Park City Run Company.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we always get her in the winter,
Yeah.
or the bus is broke. One of the two.
Yeah.
So it's
don't want to.
We got a
even more
chance the
cold.
bus going up to Park City.
We got
No.
a 2-month window
Yeah.
of when this thing's on the road.
Yeah, she's
I talk
amazing.
bad about it, and it's not going to
I've
start.
never met her personally, but
She's
Jenny,
great.
you're amazing.
She's great.
Yeah.
She really is.
She's a hoot.
So let's get after it. So the 200's. What is that? Kind of what got you looking at the 200's? Is kind of that what you were saying earlier, like a challenge. What's
Absolutely.
next?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you never know what your limit's going to be until you try to push it.
Yep.
So, and it was pushed. Yeah. I mean, you go through so many highs and lows, like runner's highs, but then absolutely runner's devastation low.
Yeah.
And with the 100, I mean, you get tired. Anyone can stay up for a full night, right?
Right.
But when
Hope
you're
so.
doing multiple nights, man, it starts to take a toll on your mind and your body and
Well, even there where
your
you're
mental state.
knowing you're going to be multiple nights, right?
Exactly.
That's different
Yeah.
too.
Right.
Absolutely.
What was your game plan for sleeping?
I didn't have one, actually. So they say that 20 minutes, if you miss a full night's sleep,
Mm-hmm.
they say that 45 minutes to an hour will reset you. And
Okay.
I thought, there's no way. And it actually does.
Yeah.
I mean, it's miserable getting up. You don't want to get up. But
Right.
once you're up, you feel like you can function again. Kind of as a real human. I mean, you're never really fully functioning, right? But it does help. And then I do take some dirt naps. It just depends on how I'm feeling.
Is that scary though? Like
You're out
not
in the
being
trail.
where you're at, but like if you're going to wake up like within 20
So
minutes, 30
typically,
minutes
I've been fortunate enough to have pacers with me
okay.
at the nighttime. And that's been really nice because they just put me in an emergency blanket
Mhm.
and they time me and Sylvia, time to get up.
So they just sit there for 20 minutes.
They just sit there.
They are saints.
I know, right?
Right? I know.
Sitting over there playing Candy Crush on the side of the
It is so true. All my pacers are saints.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
but it refreshes you enough to get to the next aid station, because these aid stations are not 7 miles apart.
Yeah.
They're
No.
20
Right.
miles apart. And that's significant. In the nighttime, you're moving slower on 2, 3. I went to a 4th night in Moab. I've never done a 4th night. And
Oh, my goodness.
your pace is nothing to brag about.
What are you carrying between the aid stations?
So, water, obviously.
How much?
Electrolyte. So
As much
my
as you
other
can?
races, Washington and the Bigfoot and Tahoe, I just had a 1.5 liter. But Candace said over and over, in Moab we need a 3 liter, so I
Holy
did
cow.
purchase one, and I
Wow.
carried a 3 liter, and I used
Every
in
drop.
the day. Yeah, there were actually some times that I ran out during the day because it was significantly warmer than we were used to.
Mm-hmm.
3 liters on your back.
But the people that did not have 3 liters, they struggled between the aid stations. And then, unfortunately, one of the aid stations where most people ran out of water, they did not have enough water for the runners who were coming in. So they had to send a truck out and bring it back in, but it was about 3 hours. And so some people didn't want to wait, and they headed out there. And yeah, the desert sucks everything out of you.
Mhm.
It's a very harsh climate.
I'm not a desert guy, period.
No?
Like, I don't like
love-
heat. See, I don't like heat
Oh.
at all. If it gets over
Well-
80, it's getting surface of the sun, right?
Yeah. I mean, I can't go to Moab past April, and then not until
September.
The
well,
race.
September is pushing it. It's still sometimes so hot, but yeah, the race.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but I knew that. I mean, we grew up camping in Moab, so I knew what the desert had. In the day, it's warmer than you're used to, and
chilly
then
at
at night
night.
it gets so incredibly cold.
Mhm.
It's just
so
the weirdest
just
terrain.
the variables, and it was about a 40 degree change between
Right.
night and day.
Mhm.
So does wild things to your body.
Right.
Yeah.
So what food items are you carrying in between aid stations?
So I actually I'm a little disorganized as a runner. I don't have specific lists. Some people are really neurotic about what they need to bring, and
Right.
they have to eat 3 bites of this and then 2 bites of this and
Mhm.
a sip of this. I play it by ear. Whatever I go into an aid station, and whatever looks good is what my body needs.
Okay.
So I'll grab bags of that. I'll
Right.
throw it in my bag. I do carry, like I have Progenics bars that I have in my pack always.
Right.
But sometimes your body just doesn't want what you have in your pack.
Oh, yeah.
You think you're going to want it, and then you look at it and you think, I can't eat that thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I really just fill up aid station to aid station,
Okay.
whatever looks good.
Yeah.
Now,
What
is
about
is that different than like your other rate, like 100 miler, 50 miler
No,
though?
it's
Same
the
thing?
same.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
My first, let's see, I would say my first 50 that I did, I forced myself to eat things that I thought I needed,
Oh.
and I got so sick.
Right.
And then after that, I realized my body's going to tell me what I need.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if I want that jar of pickles, I'm going to take your jar of pickles.
Just take the whole jar, stick it in your
whole
pack,
jar.
and take off.
I know, right?
I
Thanks,
don't
guys.
eat pickles outside of running. It's bizarre, but I can drink pickle juice on the trail like it's orange juice.
So do you have
Yeah.
an iron gut
Wow.
when it comes to that? Like,
You know, I've been really fortunate. There's been very few races where nutrition has kept me from finishing.
Mhm.
wow.
So, but that's after I started implementing, listen, those potato chips look good because you need salt.
Right.
Instead of, you should be eating a healthy, let's see, what's his example?
At aid
I can't
station,
do
nothing.
yeah,
Nothing's healthy.
nothing.
Let's be
That's
honest.
why I started
Nothing.
ultras. Yeah,
So you
that's why
could
I
just
started.
eat,
Yeah.
not have to cook
I
yourself.
know my first one. I get up
Exactly.
to the aid station.
Okay.
There's chips and
Right.
pretzels and candy. I'm like, where have I been?
The watermelon's healthy.
This is the secret.
Yeah.
Can be.
Watermelon. Yeah.
Watermelon's healthy.
Watermelon
So,
does taste
so
really
do you do
good.
any type of gels at all?
I cannot do gels.
At all?
Yeah.
Huh?
I cannot do gels anymore. I overdosed on gels, and I cannot even look at gels with
Oh,
I got a
really?
couple in here if you want to
You know,
just
you
snack.
can keep those in here for emergency purposes.
That's what they're there for.
yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They're
To
survival
torment
mode.
our
If it were
guests as
survival
well.
mode and we were pushing 78 down the canyon, I
Yep.
may need a gel.
There
But
you go.
What about quesadillas?
I do like the quesadillas.
We're huge fans of those at the show.
Yeah.
You crush those, huh?
You know what I don't like though is when they offer you a quesadilla and it's been cold and
the chewy cheese.
Yeah,
That's what I call it.
Chewy cheese.
That's what I call it.
Gag on it. So I do. It does.
It's gotta be warm.
I am kind of a brat,
yeah.
and I do like it warm.
I will wait.
Oh, I would too.
I will have
will wait.
a fresh one, please.
That's right.
But I do like the quesadillas.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's amazing that you
we're
can
hitting
kind
off
of
already.
eat whatever you want, right? Without really going through.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've been pretty fortunate. Knock on wood. Here's
There's
some
some-
wood
hey, we
paneling.
got some wood
Look
in
at
here.
that.
Yeah,
This thing has it all.
Yeah,
It does.
just in case we do.
Don't hit it too hard though.
Okay.
Joe's nervous. It just doesn't start. You're not going to dent
Yeah,
it.
I got stuff to do later.
You can hitch a ride with me.
So last year, 2016, did you do a 200 miler?
2016? Yeah, that would have been Colorado.
Colorado. Okay,
Yeah,
so that was a year
Colorado.
ago,
Mhm.
and that was your first 200.
That was
Once
my
you-
first
That
200.
broke
Once you did
guys.
that, because this year, I'm just going to read a quick list for the listeners. This is your 2017 race schedule.
Okay.
Okay, you did the Antelope Canyon 50, right?
Yeah.
And if I mess up, let me know, or something
Yeah,
else.
no, this is probably news to me. This is good.
The Smut 100K,
Oh my goodness.
the River of No Return 108K.
Oh, you did the Idaho 208 then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
of El
I
Vaquero
wanted this special
50K,
trophy.
and 6 days after El Vaquero 50K was the Bigfoot 200.
Well,
Yeah,
it's only
that-
50K compared
Yeah.
to
That wasn't
200.
Yeah.
really wise, but no one said I was wise.
Well, you're doing 200, so that sound about right. Did I miss one? Did I miss
No,
something
that
there?
sounds right.
So were those?
there's one race she did not do.
I
What's
know.
that?
It's,
Yeah, I know.
Joel doesn't want to bring it up.
Oh,
There's a called a Gib
You can't
the
do
Gib
that.
Wallace Memorial Race
Yeah.
in May
Oh, okay.
down in Ogden.
Down in Ogden.
It's pretty global now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
hear about it all
Is
over.
that your race?
It's
Oh,
one of our
yeah,
races.
actually, yeah,
I'm
it is.
glad you asked. It is.
Okay.
We're the worst, man.
We have
Oh,
great
man.
prizes.
I'm
Yeah,
going to
we
put that
do.
on my list next time.
Yeah, so
you
it's-
have great prizes.
Well, last
Oh.
year the winner. So what's the distance? 7 miles.
Yeah, 7-ish.
7 miles.
Yeah.
And the winner got $100 cash, a Sunto Spartan watch
Huh?
for the
Your
winner.
race is going to change next year.
The male winner
You're
won
gonna-
that, and the female winner. So both of them got.
And
all
we
those.
went deep into the
Yeah.
giving too.
Yeah, second place got $50 cash.
Yeah,
Joel, your
other swag.
registration numbers just doubled.
I hope so.
They better.
Guaranteed.
I know it went from 1 to 2.
Yeah, right. They're both comps. No. So were those races that the Antelope Smut, were those races that were strategically there to get you ready for the 200?
Absolutely.
So that's
Yeah.
kind of how those fell into
The
play.
hardest thing, people say, how do you train for that?
That's my
and
next
my response is always not enough. So it's really difficult to get in that mileage without being assisted. And so these races, you can get in long mileage and have the aid stations, right? And not have to strategically place your water bottle around the town so that you're getting in a lot of miles.
Right.
Because you do need to get in mileage and just get used to being out there on the trail for the rest of your life.
Is it time on your feet, though? Is that kind of
Time
we
on your
look at
feet.
it, too, is just
Yep.
how long? Because, I
Yep.
mean, you're talking 3 nights, right?
Yeah. A fourth one.
Fourth night,
Fourth in
excuse me.
Moab.
Fourth night. You
Don't
can't,
take that night away from me.
You
My
can't train.
goodness.
How do you train for 4 nights?
You know what?
You know what I mean?
I don't know that you can.
How much did you sleep during that time?
Not enough.
Well,
I think
okay, that's the obvious answer.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
So that
Right.
that
Some
race,
numbers.
the finish time on that race was 101 hours and
Yeah,
56
yikes.
minutes. So how many of
'Cause I
those 101
did.
hours did you sleep?
Well, I did go an additional 18 miles. Can we put that in?
Are
there?
you serious?
So I ran 2:58 instead of 2:40 for Moab.
Did you take a wrong turn?
I sure did.
Oh, that's
So,
right. Now I remember.
I did. I slept for 45 minutes
Mm-hmm.
after I got lost and was found. I had to regroup, and
You were found.
I hated the world. I was found. And then I did 2 dirt naps. So 23 minutes and like 28 minutes, I think.
So you didn't sleep barely a full hour out of the 102 hours,
I slept
essentially.
an hour. Let's see, an hour and 20 minutes.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I don't know that it's amazing. I don't know that
Oh, it is.
It is.
Period.
Were you a little loopy there at the end?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I was getting in trouble from my crew that I was talking too much. I kind of get like punch drunk.
Yeah.
And I just
silly
Go for
and
it.
goofy.
I don't know. I like to talk to people when I come into the aid stations. It's, Christmas in the desert.
Christmas in the desert. I mean, just that. I mean, not the fact of what you did this year with the Triple Crown, but just that little snippet of doing 18 additional miles on a 240-mile. You've got to be mentally just strong as ever.
The strongest person that's ever been in here.
Pretty much. I mean, seriously, though. Because think about it.
I just really think it's the seat. The seat's deterring you guys.
No, because
you're giving me way more credit than I feel like I deserve.
You hear people doing a trail 50 miler, and they get lost for 2 miles, and it
crushes them.
Right? I mean, mentally for 2 miles of 50, because it is still a pain in the butt, right? It's extra mileage, but you're talking now. You got lost for an entire.
She got
25K.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It almost broke me. It did almost break me. I cried harder than I did even when I was burying my children.
How far into the race were you?
So the aid station was 183 miles that I was supposed to be at, but then when they found me, I was at 2-something. So I don't know.
Holy cow. So you're basically 170, 80 miles into a race.
Yeah.
And then kind of lollipop an 18-miler.
I had only slept 23 minutes up to that point, and so it heightened everything when I was found. I mean, I was just
do you have a spot tracker?
I do have a spot tracker, and that was part of the problem. I downloaded the map through the GIA app, and what you're supposed to do, and your GPS tracker and that map are supposed to signal to each other. For whatever reason, mine was not. And so, kind of to backtrack on the story, I was by myself because my good friend Don Mueller, he hurt himself, my pacer, at night, and we were hours in the mountain, and he was really struggling. He was in a lot of pain, and he told me to leave him, and I said, I'm not leaving you in the mountains.
I'd have left Don.
You would have left
You
Don?
wouldn't have left Joel.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he will.
Yeah, totally.
Oh yeah, we've got that arrangement.
Yeah,
it's
like I've,
that's
well,
no problem.
he kept telling me to. I said, I'm not leaving you.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving you. So in the morning, we both decided when it gets lighter out, go on, and I'll make it to the aid station. So that is kind of the premise of how I ended up by myself. But what actually happened is the deer were eating the flagging. They were just curious about it. So they were biting them off and spitting them out. Wow. So I had come off this trail, and there was an intersection, either a road down or there was a right-hand turn that I missed. Typically, when you're on a trail and you're going to make a drastic turn to the right or left, there will be a sign that says, warning, turn coming up.
Right.
So that sign was actually there, but it had been knocked down either by animals. They think by animals. There were just a lot of animals. We were in the La Salle Mountains.
Right.
Wow.
So that had been knocked down, so I missed that. When I got to the intersection, there was an arrow that was pointing down, and the arrows don't necessarily point directly to where you're going, right? So I don't see the flagging that takes me to the right. So I go down the road, assuming that the road is where the sign is pointing to. So, and then it turns out, so typically if you're on a trail or a road that's very obvious, the marking is less frequent.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was not uncommon to this point that you're going down a road and you're not going to see flagging for a while. So I didn't see flagging. I was looking around, but it so happened that they had been doing construction on that road at some point. So I saw a pink flag.
Oh, no.
So in my mind, I was on the right trail. I kept checking my GPS and my phone, and I was stopped at 175 for hours.
Right.
So for whatever reason, those two were not signaling. So, because I would typically pull out my phone, follow that, but I didn't have that to follow. And now when we were coming back, there was only one pink flag. Candace's flag, she calls them dragons, and there's several pink flags. But in my mind, when I'm on 180 miles and I slept for 23 minutes, I see a pink flag, and I think that I'm going the right way.
Yeah.
So I keep going down this road, down this road, and then I come to another intersection, and there's no flagging whatsoever.
Oh, no.
And I thought, what is going on? Where am I? I threw my poles. Why is there not marking? I was so upset, and I pulled out my phone. I mean, I was stopped at the same spot. I was so extremely frustrated. So what they say is to go back to the next flag. So I backtracked, and I went to the next pink flag, the construction flag.
Right.
And and then I go and then I turn around and I go back to the intersection. There's no marking. So what I did in my mind, the aid station that I was going to was Uwa Lake, is what it was called.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a recreational sign that is pointing to Uwa Lake this direction.
Right.
So I thought the most reasonable thing for me to do is to follow the recreation signs. But then I'm just getting more and more frustrated.
Right.
I've been out there since the night. I'd been out there for probably 10 hours.
Oh, my gosh.
And I didn't have a signal, but out of desperation, I sent a text to my family.
Right.
I said, there is no marking. My GPS is not working. I have no idea where I am. I need help.
Right.
So, actually, that did end up going through eventually. And my crew was able to find me on the road. And when they found me, I just cried a lot. And they said, you got lost somewhere? I said, yeah, there's no marking. I don't know where I'm going. They said, you're off course. I said, how far off course am I? And they told me 8 miles. And I didn't know if I would be able to go.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
They were amazing, and they gave me a boost of they just were amazing.
Right.
They let me cry it out,
Mm-hmm.
and I decided I'm this far in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing the Triple Crown series. I'm not going to let this race stop me.
Wow.
The bummer of a deal is I ran all the way down for 8 miles.
No.
And when your crew finds you, you're not allowed to get into a vehicle.
Right.
So you can't hitch your ride back up to where we went off course.
Right.
So the premise is you get to go back up
Uphill.
and find where we got off track.
Right.
And so, of course, uphill both ways,
Mm-hmm.
story. I cried all the way
Oh.
up the mountain. And I mean, about 4 miles in, I threw my poles and I just grabbed my head and I just thought, focus, focus, focus.
Mm-hmm.
You're almost to the trail. And when I saw that trail and where I got off, I was so angry at myself. And I just took off. I took off. And I went as fast as I could. And
Well, at that
just,
point, what was 70 miles left of the race once you got back on track?
yeah,
Oh
which
my
is
God.
a lot. That's so much.
That's so far.
That's a lot.
That's so far.
Yeah.
I've done like 180 something, but I only have 70 more.
Well, I had
So
actually already done
ridiculous.
200 miles
Right,
by the
with-
time that I found the
back
trail,
and-
right? So
oh my gosh.
my anger fueled me. I ran a really good split to the aid
Oh
station.
my gosh.
But when I got into the aid station, I was still absolutely frustrated, and I just had to regroup there. I cried
Right.
and cried and told my story, and my family's like, "Yeah, you need to sleep. You need some nap.
Sleepy
you?
time.
Sleepy time and some food." So I had some food and some sleepy time, and I was so angry. I was
Mhm.
I was angry at myself, the stupid move. I was angry that I left my pacer. I was angry that I was in the position that I was, and I still had a long ways to go. My good friend Katie Graff, who was the only other woman who made it to the third race as well, we weren't in competition with each other at all. She's a good friend, and you help each other out. But I was ahead of her, and I wanted to maintain that lead just because
Right.
I wanted to maintain that lead. So before I got lost, I was 22 miles ahead of her.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I got to the aid station, she was only 3 miles behind me.
Oh.
And so that frustrated me a little bit. I had this buffer, and not that was my original goal, but if I was ahead, I wanted to maintain that.
Yeah.
Right.
You know? So that put a little bit of added stress onto me, and so I tried to sleep and just regrouped at that next aid station and had another lovely 20-mile stretch aid station to go.
Man.
So
I just listening to that is just crazy. I mean,
It
like I
is.
said, getting off course is one thing, but what you went through is
it
completely
was
different.
emotional.
But
Yeah.
to be able to rally,
Yeah.
to
I don't know
finish,
that I rallied, but
You
I
totally
did.
rallied.
totally
Like,
rallied.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did have to regroup, though.
For sure.
It
And
was
then
tough.
your crew putting you back together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they
tell us
were
about
amazing.
your crew.
Yeah.
So did you have kind of like the same crew for all the 200 milers, or were they a little bit different?
They were different. My husband typically will crew me at night, but he had knee surgery the day that the race started.
Okay.
And he came down directly after
Jeez.
Wow.
to crew me. He thought he put his running shoes in the car. I said, "What are you doing?"
Oh my
He
goodness.
said, "Well, I might be able to run." I said, "Don't be dumb. You're not going to be able to run. You're going to be 1 day post-surgery. So
Right.
you can just see me at the aid stations." So
Holy
typically,
So this runs in the family.
Yeah, it does, right?
he created this madness. So typically he is my pacer at night. In Washington, we had 2 friends that came out with us, Paul Losi, and then Tahoe. It was just my husband Heath and my good friend Rose and Alex. And then this one, since it was local, my family was a huge part of it.
Right.
My brother Alex and my sister Anna were crewing, and my mom and dad stayed the whole time. They crewed with me.
Wow.
And then I had my brother or my sisters come down. There's a lot of us.
Wow.
There's 6 of us, but everyone but my sister from Hawaii came.
Well, there's no excuse.
I
Yeah.
know, right? That's
I don't
such a
know
lame
what her.
excuse.
I don't know, but
She's not getting
including
some for
nieces and
Christmas.
nephews and their 5 puppies. So we were
Holy
seriously
cow.
like a circus at
Yeah,
the
you were.
aid station. They were amazing.
Was there
My
like a
family-
tour bus? Is that what
Yeah,
they
yeah.
cruise you?
You had to.
with the puppies.
Yeah.
No, so it was amazing. And then, so the Friday to the Sunday is when my family was there. And then they had to go to work, and my parents stayed, and then my good friend Heather Stouffer and her husband Rob and Don Mueller and her his cute wife Kim, they stayed with me and helped crew. Don is the one that got hurt though, so then Heather did some extra pacing.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
So it was different but my crew, I couldn't do it without my crew and my
Of course.
pacers. There's no way.
So when you're in between those aid stations, they're so far apart. When you're coming into that aid station, what's your mindset? Are you planning it ahead of
Absolutely.
what you need?
Yeah. Yep. I'm trying to think, okay, what are my immediate needs?
Right.
Which is always food.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm eating and sitting, I feel like it's quickly digesting. My body's starting to get energy right away. So food is always the first priority. And then my crew, they'll take my pack. They'll fill up the bladder.
Right.
They'll ask me what I want. I'm always changing socks.
Okay.
The sand was
at the
played a
240.
huge role
Yeah.
in Moab, so I made sure I was changing socks pretty regularly
Right.
in Moab. And then if you were headed into night, you'd make sure you were changing your outfit entirely. So, yeah, as I'm getting closer, I'm thinking, okay, what do I need to tell my crew? Because they're amazing. They come and they bombard you. What do you need? So I want to be able to give them an immediate answer instead of, I don't know. But sometimes it wasn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they'd say, and then the aid station would say, what kind of food do you want? And I did sometimes have to think a little bit, what do you have? What do you guys,
Right.
and think what sounds good. But yeah, pre-planning.
Did you have like extended stay in aid stations or
Oh, yeah.
something? So you did have extended stays.
You spend, it's not like 100 where you want to be in and out. These aids, because they're so far apart, if you leave prematurely before you're ready, you're going to pay the price. So most people, except the winner of Moab,
Yeah. Courtney.
57 hours. Courtney was probably in and out in 5 minutes. The rest of us, probably 30 minutes to an hour. It's crazy. When you get there, you feel like you've been there for 20 minutes and your crew says, okay, we got to get you out of here. You've been here for 45 minutes. And
Okay.
you think, what?
Right.
What have I doing with myself? But even just that sitting and resting, I think does so much for your body. I think there's early on, you can kind of go through them a little bit quicker, but when you're on your second, third, fourth night, you cannot rush through those aid stations. You have if you leave early, you have another 10 miserable hours out there.
My goodness.
So you have to be strategic about it.
So you don't checklist things like in an aid station, right? Like you
I
have
don't.
a checklist. It's just you come in. It's like a improv, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's insane.
It is pretty insane.
It's just so crazy to hear different, because we had Ben on the show, and kind of a little bit different approach. He was the more list oriented.
I'm not. It'd probably be beneficial if I was a little more organized, but I don't know. I feel like there's so many variables. You can't have a checklist. I can't have a checklist at each aid station. I think it would be helpful if maybe you're by yourself and you. Yeah. But my crew knows kind of what to do and what I'm needed. So they grab my bag, they grab my drop box, they put it right by me. In all my drop boxes, I have socks, I have food, I throw it in my pack. If it doesn't look good, I ask them to grab me something. So there's a checklist as far as necessities, but specifically down to what.
You just play it by how you feel.
I have to be a play it by ear person.
Now, you said you changed your socks. Did you change your shoes ever?
Yeah. Not as often as you would think. I wore, so I rotated between 3 pairs of shoes.
Okay.
I did a Superior, probably the first 60 miles, and then I had 2 different pairs of Timps, Ultra Timps, and I just switched between those 2.
Gotcha.
So you're an Ultra shoe wearer.
I do. My feet, and especially towards the end, your feet just become a size that you don't really
like
know.
a Fred Flintstone foot. It's kind
oh
of
my gosh, yeah.
little hobbit feet.
So
I know, right?
yeah, I love Solomon too, but they just towards the end, your feet just start to get so small, and I can't put them on and have them be comfortable.
Yeah, and that. Do your feet take just a massive beating, or your feet just like your stomach's like, no big deal, they're good?
No, my feet. I mean, you'll step on a rock wrong, and you think that a spear has gone through your foot. Like Porcupine Rim Trail. There's a lot of rocks up there, and I don't know. On a regular day, they're pretty enjoyable, but they become your nemesis
when you're that tired.
Yeah, yeah.
So what gave you, or what drove you to do the Triple Crown? Because you did the 200 last year, but now it's only, I'm going to do 3 of them a month apart. I mean, that's a big jump. A 200 miler is a big jump, but doing 3 of them that close is a huge jump. What?
Purely, again, out of the reason of wanting to see if I could. I signed up for Colorado because I thought that sounds virtually impossible. But then, like I said, if you don't try something, you never know if you're going to fail at it. So, I mean, I was intrigued.
I'm glad. Do you think that on everything? Like,
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
So I think that's how she rolls.
Well, it's like it's like one of those things. Like, well, I was intrigued and I want to see how I can do. I'm like, I feel the way when I sit down at Roosters for cheese curds. Can I have one more plate of these? That's where I challenge myself. I don't do 200 miles.
The reason I think that this is how she rolls because twice now in the last 45 minutes. She's shown that that's her MO.
Like Barkley.
Like Barkley and this. Yeah. Well, that sounds interesting.
I want to see. I want to push myself. You want to push something, you push the bus out of the parking lot.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll help you. We're on a downhill slope. I got it. This is real CrossFit right here.
It is.
Oh, man.
But there's a lot of things that I'm not good at in this world, but I can put one foot in front of the other. So I feel like
that's kind of your thing, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of things that I am really not good at. So you find a niche and I love it. So you run with it. No pun intended.
Yeah. Or walk.
Yeah, it's more like a
suffer or.
Yeah, there's not a ton of running involved.
So let's be honest.
Slogging.
Yes.
The Moab. Slog.
So we're gonna take a quick break.
Yeah.
Because we just talked about the Moab race.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's just one
There's
of the
2
3.
others.
Right.
Yeah, so we're doing this in opposite order, which is fine.
That was too big of a story.
Right.
It was the most vivid on my mind.
Yeah.
Most fresh.
There's still anger.
So we're gonna take a break. We're gonna hit our aid station real quick, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk to you about the Bigfoot 200 as well as the Tahoe 200, and maybe see if we can challenge you to do anything else that's kind of crazy.
All right.
I know.
So we'll be right back with the second half. Do you like saving money by being a good driver? Health IQ gets you lower rates on life insurance with your health-conscious lifestyle. Learn more and get a free quote today at healthiq.com/trailmanners. Now let's get back to Sylvia. All right, we are back with Sylvia in Studio 78. We just got done talking about the big Mamba Jamba, the Moab
258.
40/258-ish.
I just got more for my money.
You did.
There you go. There you go. It's like,
Wow.
I'm paying this. I'm getting what I need out of it,
She
right?
got more than she needed.
But as you know, that's the third of the Triple Crown installment.
Right.
So first up would have been the Bigfoot 200 up in Washington,
Yeah,
which is a little different terrain than, say, the
Very
Moab
different.
race.
Right.
very different.
So, and that one you did 87 hours, 25 minutes. So that's still
fast.
that's
No,
st-
it's not.
it's still 87 hours.
It's
That's
still 87 hours of moving. That's
It is.
amazing.
So
Yeah,
so tell us
forward
about
movement.
that one. That was the first one after you just came off 5 days before that, the El Vaquero Loco.
Right.
Yeah,
50K. So you got a nice little taper
Warm up.
in.
Yeah. Taper up.
We taper
we
up.
like to talk.
taper up.
Taper up.
That's our thing. We taper
Mhm.
up. The other stuff's
We're
bogus.
right in the middle of tapering up right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
For
Yeah.
what?
I don't know.
The capstone.
Oh,
The 7K.
No,
Ooh, nice plug.
That
I like
wasn't
that.
us. That was nice.
No, but the capstone
Half
marathon.
Oh,
Yeah, down in St. George.
Yeah.
very cool.
I know.
Yeah, so we're tapering right
We
now.
just started today.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Started
Yeah.
training.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
We got a quick one in this morning.
Yeah. It wasn't quick.
Yeah, it wasn't at all.
It's a lot of walking.
Yeah, we were chatty. So the Bigfoot 200. To me, looking at all these, and I haven't been on Tahoe area, but that one to me would be my favorite.
Yeah.
That was my favorite.
Pretty wise, that was
Yeah.
yours? Okay.
Yeah, it was.
Because you're mountains and
Yeah.
the trees.
Mount St.
and-
Helens is there
Yeah.
the whole time,
So
looming
Did you say
over you.
Tahoe would have been your favorite? Or
N-
Bigfoot?
no,
would have been-
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
Oh,
Tahoe
it
yours?
was not my favorite.
Bigfoot.
Tahoe was my favorite.
Really?
Was.
Yeah, I know. Confession. Bigfoot was not my favorite.
So tell us a little bit about Bigfoot. Like how the race, how you felt like the first one went for you, kind of pros and cons
So
of how
my
things.
problem heading into Bigfoot, I had my last 200 that I did was in Colorado, right? And it
Mhm.
has 14,000 feet of 14,000 foot mountains.
Right.
So I look at this one, and the highest elevation is what, 6?
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is probably going to go much faster than Colorado.
It's flat.
Colorado, I did 80 hours.
Right.
So we got to Bigfoot. We had driven all night, and I had horrible sleep, so we could get there in time. And I started out feeling tired, but I thought, I'll be okay. This elevation, I got this, right? So we start, and immediately my heart feels like it's going to pound out of my chest, and I'm sweating like that's not normal. It was a little more humid than they were used to at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so anything over 2% for this U-ton is horrible.
Yeah.
Right.
So the humidity started to take its toll on me right away.
Oh.
There was some super exposed areas. The first 30 miles was the worst 30 miles of any race I have ever done.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
And I have never wanted to quit a race after 30 miles.
Whoa.
And I had this 206-mile race that I needed to do, and
Mhm.
I wanted to quit at mile 20.
Wow.
So I had never experienced that, and I was mentally trying to pull myself out of that and think, what is going on? What is wrong with you?
Yeah, so what was your beef?
So it was warmer than I was used to, and the humidity. And
Wasn't the train?
the terrain was okay until the second half,
Mhm.
with logs that were the size of a house that
Mhm.
you had to crawl over.
Wow.
The terrain was beautiful.
Right.
It was beautiful. But I was in a slog for my first 100 miles, and I struggled. Because of the heat, the first thing I did when I saw water,
Yeah.
I ran to it and I sat in it.
oh.
In this water is sleet and like silt. Sorry,
Oh, yeah.
silt.
Silty. Yeah.
Oh.
Silt.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get up and I have sand in every crevice of
Uh-oh.
my body.
Owie.
And it's humid, so I can't wipe it off.
Right.
So this is 20 at mile 20.
Oh,
So I'm trying to wipe off this silt
right.
that's everywhere. And I know it's going to go really bad,
Yeah.
really fast.
yeah.
And so chafing started immediately.
Jeez. Good thing there wasn't much further to go.
I know, right?
Walking
I
sandpaper.
know. So
yeah, exactly.
I mean, I took off my shoes at the next aid station. They were pruned. They were the silt got everywhere.
Right.
I just didn't even think
Yeah.
that around Mount St. Helens that the water would still be like that.
Hmm.
So it really destroyed me. My back my entire back was bloody and chafing.
From your backpack rubbing on you?
So towards the end, they just changed the bandage. I mean, I had like this 8x10 bandage gauze on my back that they had to keep changing because it was just oozing and bloody from the silt. So that was...
Wow, so that is a note to self.
Yeah.
Don't get in the water.
Yeah, it looks tempting, but don't do it, right?
It does. It looked amazing. I'm a
Holy
water... I
cow.
love the water.
I mean,
get
do
in
you
it all the
normally
time.
use like squirrel's nut butter, something like that?
Something greasy
Yeah,
or
yeah,
Something
absolutely.
greasy?
Oh yeah, but this
Was
I
next
washed
level.
away. Yeah,
This
this
next
was something
level.
that I didn't know how to handle.
So
I don't have silt in Utah.
No, we don't.
So
Or I don't get in it, but I didn't even realize. So
Right.
yeah, so that started out pretty rough, and the burn zone is very, very exposed,
Mm-hmm.
and it's tough. It is tough. It's hot. There's crazy rocks and that, and I had silt
a lot of silt.
as an extra
That's what I'm
extension.
getting from this
Was there
race.
there was some silt?
That's
There
what
was,
I heard.
yeah. Avoid that. Avoid that at all costs. So,
Maybe
I
she
started
needs to
off
go
on
on
a bad
Salt
foot.
Flats 100.
yeah.
Just look at her.
She's like, yeah.
She's
Okay,
like,
what?
no. Where? Yeah, exactly.
Oh, what is that?
yeah.
But it got a little bit better after I was able to change. But I started to have some bad foot issues, and so I just moved way slow.
Mm-hmm.
The downhill, I struggle with the downhill with my blisters, and I just was kind of slogging along. But probably, I mean, the terrain was gorgeous. This Bigfoot was the first time I've ever hallucinated. I've never.
Ooh,
I've
tell us about that.
Come on.
That's a good.
Come on,
Yeah.
come on. Give
What'd
us
you
some
see?
hallucinations.
Yeah, so it was a little bit raining, drizzly on and
Mhm.
off, and we were on dirt trails, and the raindrops were making crazy pictures in the
puddles and stuff.
well, just I don't know what it was doing, but in my mind, I'm seeing these very well drawn 3D faces all the way up the trail, and I just kept looking at the
Awesome.
faces. Wow, these are amazing pictures that
Somebody's
someone
done a
drew.
good job out
Someone
here.
has done such a good job.
It's like sidewalk jock.
I'm just
Yeah,
looking
exactly.
at them, and they're just the strangest. And then I saw one of my brother, perfectly drawn of my brother, and I said to my husband, "That is an amazing picture of Alex. Look at that."
And what's your husband doing at
He
this
said,
point?
"You need a dirt nap."
So awesome.
Perfect response.
We need to get him on the show
right?
to talk to him about
Get the
this.
dirt from the dirt
I'm
nap.
sure he has plenty he could share. So I did. I took a dirt nap, but I think the combination of not sleeping great the day before and
Mhm.
then the heat,
Right.
I just think it was extra stress on my body, and so that's why I hallucinated. But it was so weird because I remember it and remember thinking this isn't real, but
Mhm.
it seemed so real. Like it was a in and out of it was bizarre, but the best drawings ever.
You gotta find that artist.
I know, right? She's really genuine. You can see
I know,
it.
right? It's like they were so good though.
Yeah.
Oh. And then the climbing, it was great because you could climb and climb and climb and not be breathing super hard. I mean, you felt a little bit tired, but nothing like when you climb in Colorado.
Yeah.
Right.
So that felt okay. I
Mhm.
just, my body didn't feel great, and so I moved much slower than I anticipated, and I was disappointed in my time because I thought surely I would move faster in Washington than I did in Colorado.
Right.
So it was a little bit of a disappointment, but the end goal is always when I start is to finish.
Mhm.
So I felt okay about it, I guess.
So you finished that one bloody and silty.
And you
Yeah.
you rallied
I
early.
do have to tell you a funny story, can I?
Oh, yeah.
That's why
Okay.
we're here.
You've got the mic.
Yeah.
So I've never had this happen, but the trail running community is not necessarily competitive. Everyone's super, super friendly with each other, right? So there happened to be a girl that had run the race previous, and she did significantly better than she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so when she would come into the aid station, I'd try to talk to her, and we were kind of going back and forth. I would get in front of her, and then she'd get in front of me, and I would try to talk to her to the aid station, since she was not interested in that. So I just gave up. So the last aid station, we have 13 miles to go, and I came in before her, and I grabbed a little bit of food. I didn't intend to stay there very long.
Mm-hmm.
And just as I was about to leave, she comes in with her pacer, and I said to Paul, "We got to get out of here." And she gave me this look like, "I am coming to get you."
Uh-oh.
I said, "Paul, I think she wants to come get me." So he said, "Let's go. Let's go." And so we have this gradual slope. It's a downhill on a fire road. So
Right.
he said, "You can do 12-minute miles, right?" So he paces me, and we're doing 12-minute miles, which feels like 6-minute miles.
I'm
I
sure.
felt like an
That
Olympic
mile.
athlete.
You're like,
180.
This is awesome.
I
I'm
know.
flying.
No, I was like, "This is so hard."
Yeah.
So he gets us out of there pretty quick, and he keeps us on a pretty consistent pace.
Mm-hmm.
So after about 6 miles, I said, "Paul, I got to slow down. I can't do this." He said, "Well, I can't see her light.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even see him.
Right.
You're fine. You're good. Let's just bring it in."
Mm-hmm.
And the last 6 miles, you come down into town, and you're on this road, and it feels like it is never going to end. And I did it in the dark.
Right.
So we're playing the game of run 2 minutes, walk a minute,
Right.
run 2 minutes, walk a minute. He keeps looking back. I don't see her. It's fine. We're good. Because I was ahead of her. Again, I'm not typically a competitive person, but I was ahead of her, so I wanted to keep it that way, right? So we get to the race ends at the high school at the track.
Yeah.
And I'm about to go into the parking lot to go around the track, and I see my mom. She's recording me. "We're almost done. Yay." She said, "How are you?" I said, "I'm okay."
I'm silty.
And I'm just kind of,
Exactly.
I'm silty. No, so I'm just at a pretty regular pace.
Mhm.
And my mom's recording, and next thing you know, these 2 lights flash on behind us, and they're charging right
Yeah.
for us. And Paul said, "It's Claire!"
Ah,
And I said,
it's
"Where
clear.
did she
This is like a horror movie.
I said, he said, "She's not going to beat you." So with 800 meters left, I am sprinting.
Just like
which,
high school.
Again,
Yep.
I felt like an Olympic athlete.
I know.
But when I look back at the video, it's a slight jog.
You're shuffling.
Yeah, exactly.
In
I
your mind, you
feel
got
like
chariots
I'm
of
breaking
fire
records.
going.
Exactly. Have you ever seen there's either a commercial or a movie where you got these 2 old dudes and they're just like shuffling, like they're racing and shuffling, but they have like the chariots of
Chariots
fire.
of fire.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's like that.
I know. I feel like I'm breaking records left and right.
Yeah.
Anyway, she is on the track and I'm on the track, and we are 200 meters apart, and we are sprinting it out in a 206-mile run.
I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I ended up finishing, but our times were probably 45 seconds apart.
Oh, it's awesome.
What ended up happening is she kept her light off
Oh,
the
yeah.
entire time.
That's old
Sneaky.
school.
So she could
Yeah.
not. I couldn't see her.
That's old school
That
right
is.
there. Man, I know that. I know people that have done that
You
before.
do?
Oh, yeah.
I have never experienced that.
I may
Yeah.
have done it before.
And we finished, and I said, "Good job." She said, "You struggled in that last part, didn't you?"
Oh no, she's one of those people. You're like, why you gotta harsh my mellow right now? I just finished.
Oh,
I
man.
wanted to say, not as much as you struggled. I came in before you.
I know,
That's
right?
right.
It's like if you come in before, you can't
You're
say
You're like,
that.
burn.
That's so rude. I'm not
No.
that person. Well, I was.
You rightfully so.
But it was, I
That's
had never
funny.
experienced that. So that was,
Yeah.
that was,
That is a good
A
story.
highlight.
That is
I like
awesome.
it.
That's super awesome.
That's better than Silty.
But yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna get you a shirt that says Silty, by the way.
I'm gonna get you a shirt. Your new nick is Sylvia Gunner Rally Greer, because it's
Yeah.
like you rallied at Moab from getting lost.
Yeah.
30 miles of being silt
that's going to
soaked.
take off.
You
Silt
That's my
rallied.
new name.
Mhm.
That's gonna be on your
'Kay.
your husband's gonna get you the shirt. It's just gonna
Okay.
say Sylvia Gunner Rally Greer.
I like Rally. What about Rally?
Just Rally?
Yeah. Have you seen Rally? Yeah, she's
She's
getting
rallying
Silty right now.
She's rallying.
Yeah.
We're just changing the 8x10
buttering up.
on her
She's
back.
buttering up.
Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, we got.
So you said your feet got gnar.
They did.
Did
yeah.
they recover between?
You know, they're not the prettiest.
Okay.
Feet
Well, I'm not asking you
we've
to
seen.
show them right now.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
But like between races, do
Yeah.
they heal up enough to where
Enough.
you're starting
Mhm.
at least
Yeah, enough.
in a good position, or it's
Right.
like, well, it's gonna suck
Yeah,
even more
enough.
than it should.
And I have used tape that I can't even think Leuco tape. But when I pre-tape, I feel like what happens to me is the blisters build up underneath, and so then when you try to rip it off, I've ripped off blisters,
Oh,
and
yeah.
so it doesn't do good for me to pre-tape.
Yeah.
So I start off the race halfway humanish, so you're
Okay.
kind of recovered enough.
Human to Hobbit.
Right.
Yep.
That's. I mean, just because it's only 4 weeks, 5 weeks apart, if that, between them. And so I'm guessing
Mhm.
between races too, you're just recovering. You're not worried.
Yeah. Are you
about
doing? What are you doing between races?
You know what?
You
I
hitting
actually-
Skyline, doing repeats
Totally.
up there? Good.
Yeah.
a couple Malin's repeats?
Yeah. Exactly.
400 repeats.
Oh.
I hit the track. No, I do a lot of rowing. So we have a rower at the house, and
Oh, you're a sucker for pain.
I do
Aren't you?
Tabata row.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
I don't even know what Tabata row is.
It's
Really?
20
seconds?
on, 10
Oh,
seconds
okay,
off.
gotcha.
But that 20 seconds feels like it's going to end your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it helped keep my. I don't know that I would lose cardio in 3 weeks, but it kind of feels like you do.
You,
And
you
so
do.
just
After
that-
10
Yeah.
days, you start
yeah,
losing it.
it's
Yeah.
really discouraging how
Mhm.
much it takes to build up, and just in a matter of days, you feel like you've never run a day in your life. So I go walking and do Tabata row
Mm-hmm.
and kettlebell swings. So,
Wow.
but
Tabata
it's-
roll. Say it fast enough. Sounds like a sushi roll.
it could be.
That'd be good right now.
Yeah. So you recover by eating sushi. I'm into this
I
training
know,
plan.
right?
Sign me
Let's do
up,
it.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
So that's
So-
pretty much what it is. Just is healing,
Yep.
taking care of your feet,
Right.
kind of working
Yeah.
out the kinks,
Not
and just
really
doing your
running.
routine.
Not running. No,
Yeah.
some people do. I choose not to. I'm going to have plenty of that later on.
Yeah, you got that coming up in a few weeks later, right?
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
might as well save that for later.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit on the rower and throw on some Oprah and just row.
Yeah,
right?
eat some sushi.
Very true.
Eat some sushi. so you did that one. That was 87.25, and then comes around the Tahoe 200. What you said was your favorite,
That
right?
one was my favorite.
So
yeah.
why was it your favorite? Was it terrain? Was it just how
Terrain,
you
it's similar
did?
to what we have here as far
Okay.
as like the elevation, and the terrain is really similar. I have family there, so we would spend lots of summers and winters there, so it just kind of felt familiar.
Right.
Running around the lake, I don't know if you've been to Tahoe, but it's absolutely gorgeous. The lake, the mountains, I felt more at home there. And the trails some of them are immaculate. They take such good care of their trails. There's no rutting, even though they have bikers on there, and it was like the sound of music running.
Oh wow, I like that.
What was her finish time for that race?
That was 83.33.
Okay.
So it was the fastest of the three.
Right.
It was
Right.
the faster of the three.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you spent less time in aid stations.
Didn't get-
the
I
Tabata
had-
row helps, so you're sprinting more.
No silty.
No silt.
No silt.
I the aid stations, I feel like I spent longer time there than I should have. It's really difficult to leave aid stations.
imagine.
Last thing you want to do is leave,
Especially
especially
if
when
they
you're
have
by
the
the
quesadillas.
fire.
Be chucking.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
feeding you.
burritos.
I'd be
Oh my
chucking
gosh.
burritos and hamburgers in my
I
pockets.
know.
Yeah, right.
They're like, what can
In your
we
pouches,
feed
like
you?
a hamster.
Yeah, right. In
They're
my
bringing
hat.
food to you. They're
Yeah.
like, I will feed you if you want. I mean, it's
Oh.
hard to leave those places.
Oh.
Yeah, but about the same time though, about 2 hours of sleep,
Mhm.
2 hours 20 minutes sleep.
Oh my
You spend
gosh.
I would like to see how much cumulative time I did spend in aid stations to get a better feel
Mhm.
for how long I was on the trail. But
Yeah.
it's pretty significant the amount of time you spend.
I bet it would be just kind of, because I've looked at that like in a 100-mile race
Yeah.
for me, right? But I
Right.
can
Yeah.
imagine a
Like,
200.
I could have cut this much time
Yeah,
off if I
exactly.
had spent this much less time. But again, you pay the price if you leave before you're ready,
Right.
and it's just a different beast. You can't compare it to aid stations and hundreds. You
Yeah.
just can't.
Well, I think that's where we struggle and why we've been so intrigued by the 200 is how, just the whole logistics behind it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we've run hundreds, we know.
Yeah.
somewhat of that, right? We're not pros by any means, but then you jump into a 200. It's like, okay, I'm going to be on the trail for 10 hours before I see my next aid station.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Carrying
to think about
3
very
liters.
daunting.
I couldn't imagine just 3 liters in a pack.
Yep.
My shoulders would be sore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just those little things that you wouldn't think about.
Yeah.
You know?
Time on your feet, shoulders absolutely
Yeah.
are so, like screaming at you.
Because if you
mean-
have to carry that, it's like, I'm not going to take any food because that's just more weight.
Yeah,
if I got
and
to take
then you
water and
always
then you're out of food.
Want to make
and
sure you have a rain jacket and
Yeah.
rain, you know,
Right.
a headlamp.
Headlamp.
the essentials, headlamp, they add up. I chuck my backpack when I'm done, and I just don't even want to look at it.
What backpack did you wear?
So I have a Solomon Sense Lab, and then I have one, another Solomon that's a little bit bigger, so I can put more stuff in it. I don't remember the name of it.
That's okay.
Sorry,
all right.
Solomon.
That's all right.
It's
all
a
right.
pretty green color, like
there
the
you go.
green of your truck.
Well, if they gave them to you or, hooked you up, then you would know. But, hey.
No.
Yeah.
So
No.
what's typical in your pack? You got your water. What do you typically
Food.
pack yours with? Food
Food
gear,
from the aid station. We know that.
essentials. Do you carry you got
Yeah.
headlamp,
Headlamp, extra
jacket,
batteries, an
what
extra headlamp.
any stuffed animals? I mean, what do you throw in there?
No, I wanted to take my stuffed animal.
Just as a
but-
pillow. This is a cozy feel good from home. You
For the
know?
dirt naps, you need a
know.
pillow,
Just
right?
bungee
I know,
it-
it would
just
be nice
bungee
to
it
hold
there.
on to.
A bungee.
Bungee
yeah,
it.
you
Yeah.
could.
It'd mess with the people behind you.
There were some people that did have them actually
Did ya?
bungeed on. Mhm.
Okay, that's maybe where it came up with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Seems like I've seen it.
I
So
saw Bigfoot and like a dog thing.
a dog thing.
A
Oh,
dog.
I was hallucinating again. My brother's
That one
face
was
on
real.
it.
Yeah,
That one was real. I always have a rain jacket, rain pants, emergency blanket, food,
Mm-hmm.
poncho.
But it's usually just loaded though then, right?
Oh yeah,
Just
like
popping at the
buster,
seams.
Zipper ready to bust out.
Man. I mean that's a huge variable to me though.
I know.
Like
It
this
is
year I've
hard.
been trying to run without
Well,
a pack period for
yeah.
shoulder reasons and arms. You get
It's
that ache.
it hurts.
But
Yeah.
just having that much just
It
When
was
we,
probably it would probably fluctuate between 10 and 15 pounds.
Oh my goodness,
yeah.
that's amazing.
that's crazy.
Well, the
The
water
3
itself.
liter.
I mean, you got 3 liters of water.
With the
Yeah.
3 liter, with the
Yeah.
1.5, it's probably closer to 10. But with the 3 liter pack, that oh man, I put that on and I wanted to
Are you?
cry.
You're carrying it all in your doodads. Help me out.
My
here.
doodads.
hydration bladder.
Your bladder. Thank you.
We say things different here on the
Yeah.
show.
okay.
Whatever the hell it's
I was
called.
trying to play charades and
Yeah.
Joel's
Yeah.
like pointing at
Help me out here.
Thing back
help
there.
me out here.
Yeah.
So
do you-
instead of
yeah.
handhelds or front pockets of
I
water.
don't use handhelds.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
So do you
it's most efficient to carry it on my back.
right.
Okay. So
So-
with that, do you do electrolyte type drinks in?
Yep,
Okay.
I do.
In the
Mhm.
vest?
In,
In
the,
the bladder?
vest.
Okay.
So I'll do, depending on, at night I typically will just have water because I
Mhm.
don't need as many electrolytes and I
Right.
don't want to OD on salt.
right.
Yeah.
Because I've had that problem before. So I'll switch between the two.
Mhm.
Okay.
So Progenix Hype is what I use.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
a like an inter supplement. So
Just like similar to an electrolyte
Uh-huh.
drinks and
Yep.
you see, so you just pop
yep,
it in
and
there
it has
and
coconut water, and so yeah, I use that.
Okay.
and then so with the Tahoe 200 was the middle race. Was
Yeah.
that which one was? I won't say the easiest. That's the wrong word, but it's like I'm fatigued, but I'm not warmed up, so the middle one's better. Which one for you would you say went the best? How about that?
I feel like Tahoe went the best
Did
for
it?
me.
Okay.
I was familiar with the terrain.
Mm-hmm.
Bigfoot, I underestimated.
Right.
I think a lot of people do. And then Tahoe was just so bloody long that
Moab.
Moab.
I mean,
Yeah,
Moab was
yeah.
so bloody long.
Did you learn things throughout
Absolutely,
the 3?
you do.
So is it
Everyone's
you
so
tweak it the
different.
next race, tweak it the next race, get some
Yeah.
ideas from other people.
Yeah, I mean, you're always learning. The one thing you can count on is that not a single race is going to be the same, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't. You learn things every race you do.
Mhm.
And strangely enough, I still don't have a system. Everything. I don't have something that works perfectly for me.
Right.
I'm constantly adjusting, finding this or that, and that's interesting to me. I've been doing this I've been doing ultras about 5 years, and I still feel like I'm new to it.
Did you look for advice from any of the 200 runners, like kind of their things
They have
they do?
a Facebook group,
Yeah,
right?
that Facebook
We can
group,
reach
or,
out
or
that
you just
way.
kind of do your own
A
thing.
little bit. I just kind of do my own thing. it's like having a kid. You can read everything
Yeah.
in the world about it, right? But when you actually have that kid, you're like, what?
Where was this?
I mean,
This wasn't in chapter 7.
So regardless of, and everyone's so different in how they respond to things. Nutrition is, I think, a number one thing.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear 100 different stories about what works best, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to change me getting out there. I'm going to do it regardless. So I feel like my other races gave me some experience, but there's not a ton of people that have done 200s that you can really
Yeah.
bounce ideas off of.
Mhm.
You just hope that you have the right stuff at your aid stations, that you're going to be prepared for whatever comes your way, because you know you're going to hit a wall. And unfortunately, in the 200, you hit it several times.
Right.
And you just have to talk yourself. You just have to talk yourself through it. I mean, there's so many times I just think, what? I hate this. What is wrong with me?
Oh, yeah. Did you
What is
say you're
wrong
going to quit
with me?
many
Oh,
times?
I didn't say I was gonna quit. I was just I would say to myself, I'm never doing this again.
Exactly. That one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I signed up for Tahoe again. So
Already for next
28
year?
For 2018?
well, the cool thing about next year
that's cool,
is
though.
that
It is.
They're going backwards.
Yeah.
we're going backwards.
So that's way cooler
Oh,
because
okay.
because it's
Gotcha.
gonna be totally different.
Yeah.
because it's a different
Look at her.
lake in a different
Yeah,
city.
exactly.
I hear that
No one's
lots.
ever done it backwards. I have to do it backwards.
Yeah, there it goes
Oh,
again.
okay.
No one's ever
No.
done it. Well, speaking of that, I mean, just this year, so here just for the Triple Crown,
Mhm.
okay, we talked about this a little bit off air.
Okay.
You were the first female for the Triple Crown. There was
Number one.
number one. There were 13 total finishers for the Triple Crown
Right.
that wanted to start
I
out.
don't know how many started, but there were 13 that ended up finishing.
Finishing.
Is that
Were
what
you the
got?
only lady that
Nope,
finished
there
it?
was
Nope, Katie
two.
Graff.
Yep.
Okay.
Whoop whoop.
All
She,
right.
in fact, Katie finished 12 and a half hours cumulative behind you
On Moab?
on the whole
On the whole
everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
That's-
took a cumulative
I
time.
guess that's kind
Yeah,
of
so
close.
here's your cumulative time, and I wrapped my head around this in
Yeah.
a few
Oh
different
dear,
ways.
I don't know how. I want to know if I want to know how many hours I've wasted out there.
I'm going to tell you anyway. 272 hours and 55 minutes, which is equal to just a little over 11 days.
So gnarly.
Yeah.
I told Jill that on the way. I'm like, yeah, it's like over 11 days
It's
for
almost
those
2
wild.
weeks of racing.
three races.
That's wild.
Isn't that to me? That's crazy.
I know.
It is wild.
I mean, I don't care
And
if-
with barely any sleep. I
Yeah,
cannot
right.
wrap my head
well, yeah,
around
272. Let's say 273 because you're at 55, right? So 272, 55. We'll say 273, and you were averaging what, an hour to 2
2
tops
hours.
at a race?
2
2
so
hours.
I probably
let's just say
slept
6
like
hours.
6 hours.
That's not bad. Out of 273 hours, you slept 6, and you
That's
hallucinated once.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty good, right?
I
That's
think
way
that's got to
good.
be good.
Yeah.
I don't know that everything I said was, well, hallucination and being crazy. I don't know that.
They can go hand in hand
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
normal.
But
It's all in the
only one
head.
official hallucination.
Right.
Right? Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's unbelievable. Yeah, 2 female finishers that did all 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. I
It was
just
an adventure.
273 hours. I don't think I did that all year.
Oh, good point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I do know what you
Jill's
mean.
like, yeah, I know what you mean.
I know what you mean.
That's awesome. How long?
That's
so
wild.
after the Triple Crown was over, it was what? Well, it took you
Mid-October.
4 days, so 10/17, we'll say,
Yeah.
Mhm.
was when everything's over. So it's been about a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's the last month been like? Have you just been full on, just I'm gonna relax,
I kind of feel like I have narcolepsy.
just not sleeping at all?
Just you find yourself asleep in random places.
It's like, well, how'd I end
I
up here?
just feel.
Yeah.
I feel. I'm 39. I feel like I'm going on 60 a little bit. It's taken me. I'm still exercising. I go to classes, but I get way winded
Mm-hmm.
early on. I think I'm starting to finally feel like myself, but I was extremely tired. Oh, I got shingles. I had shingles at Tahoe.
What?
Yeah. Between
What the hell? That's like an old lady thing.
No, I I know.
You're only 39.
I
At
know.
the best, you're 39. I mean,
No,
you're
so
probably
like
lying.
the
She's probably
stress
like
that it's put on my
35.
body between Bigfoot and Tahoe, I got shingles 2 days before Tahoe.
Oh my gosh.
And the only time I've ever had them is after an ultra. Look, I'm rubbing my neck.
I know, and I'm
This
like,
is
I'm
where
gonna
they
have to.
were.
I'm gonna change that seat cover.
I know, right?
Stop!
I'm sitting back here on the way home.
Diseased. She's diseased. No.
Your arm's not gonna fall off. Oh wait, that's
That's something different.
wow.
So it just takes it puts a lot of stress on your body,
Well,
and
yeah.
I can feel it. Yeah.
Well, because I mean, there is, like you said, there's not a lot of history of a 200-mile races, right? But
Yeah.
now you're talking about, which is a completely different stratosphere, is the Triple Crown.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's just not a 200. That's three.
Yeah.
That's
200 plus in
640.
a few months.
Well, with each race, it was interesting because I felt like, okay, I'm ready to go, and then about 20 or 30 miles into it, you think, oh, my body I can feel that I've just run a 200. You know,
I know, man. It
I know
drives
exactly
me
what
nuts
you
when I
mean.
wake
You
up
know,
feeling that way.
you know that feeling. You
Totally.
could just tell, even though you'd rested a few weeks,
Yeah.
or you could tell your body wasn't up to speed. So
So do you do any like have massage work done? Do you do any of that type of
No.
thing? You don't?
not really, I
Okay.
should.
You
I
don't
get in
do-
trouble. I've done dry needling before, but it's always at the 11th hour.
Yeah.
My traps hurt so bad from my pack. And
Oh yeah.
Right.
he sticks needles in me, and he says, "Why don't you come in like regularly?
Because I'm
Who
on.
has time for that?"
Because
I just
I'm
spent
racing.
270 hours running.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I should do more of it, but I don't. I just am, just trying to get the day done.
You
Right.
wing
Being a
it.
mom.
You
Yeah.
wing it. Well,
Yeah.
I think that's.
That's a good segue.
Yeah, and that's was kind of what was next is just the balance of everything. Because, like you
Mhm.
said, you're a mom. You know,
Yeah.
you're married. We just talked.
You work.
Your husband, is in the military, so he's not even here sometimes. So
Yeah.
you're home by yourself with your kids.
Yeah.
You train. How do you balance all of this? I mean, you were telling me just your husband's schedule, and I was
Yeah,
like,
it's
blah, 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 blah.
I know he gets very little sleep. We're prematurely aging ourselves,
Right.
Taking years off of our life. No, you have to love it. I have to start early. I just hit the ground running. I'm either on the trail or in a class by 5:30 or 6, and then I rush home. Kids ready for school, and then off to school. We have a long commute. We live in Eden, and my son goes to school in North Salt Lake.
Whoa.
Right?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So this phase of my life feels like driving.
Yeah.
And then we always have stuff after school. My kids are in sports, other activities. If I don't get training done in the morning, it doesn't get done.
Right.
So that's it.
And
huh?
then on the weekends, fortunately, my husband likes to run with me. Every other weekend, my kids are with their dad, and so I take advantage of that time.
Mhm.
We try to do longer runs then, but I'm lucky. It's kind of crazy. I'm lucky if I get like 30 to 35 miles in
a week.
a week.
That's not fair.
So
That's just not. She can do 200 miles off
Well,
of 35 miles of training.
So when
she
I am
eats
training,
sushi.
I have to be super efficient and do Tabata.
Yeah, she has to do the Tabata roll. That's got the spicy mayo on top.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that spicy
yeah.
mayo. That's good.
It's yummy.
So, I
Gets
mean,
me going.
I
Mhm.
mean, what kind of? So you don't get the high mileage in,
I
right?
don't get high mileage in. That's why I do the races.
Okay.
Every other week, I'm trying to do high mileage. We'll try to do a back-to-back race, like run at night, wake up super early in the morning, and do another longer run, because it mimicks,
Right.
it
Right.
Yeah.
mimics your
The fatigue.
exhaustion.
Yeah.
But other than that, I do a lot of cross training, so I'm working all muscles of my body and
Right.
not getting repetitive motion. And injury is a huge problem with lots of miles, so
Yeah.
I try to avoid that. And I feel like the cross training has made a huge difference.
Mhm.
I'm doing spinning. My husband's a CrossFit coach, so I do that. The lifting has been really good for my joints and my strength and climbing. And also I think it really helps me with my just overall performance and balance on
Mhm.
the trail.
Yeah.
Your ankles, they're constantly rotating, and so I feel strong that way. If I have an hour, I'm going to go find a peak, and I'm going to try to get as much vert in as I can. I'm not necessarily going to follow a trail. I'm going to say I want to go to that peak, and I'm going to find a way to get there. And that does so much more for me than hitting 10 miles on the road.
Right.
So when I am out there training, I try to be super efficient and make the most of the hour that I have, because that's all I have, really.
I mean, you just seem, without knowing you just seem just very driven. Like
Yes.
like everything you do.
In some aspects of my life.
I don't know. I mean, because that day right there you're just explaining to me is not something someone can wing or just some aspect. I mean, that you just covered all aspects of your life, from family to marriage to training to work to. I mean, you seem very driven. And then
thank you.
What our listeners have heard with your rallying, in these races. I mean,
yeah,
that's
I'm not
a
going to
different
let that
level.
money go to waste, dude.
That's
These are not cheap to get into.
They're not.
You cannot throw that registration away.
Yeah,
No.
But still, I mean, I just don't understand that.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, I mean, the balance in having your family there to your races and the support of your friends, because that is a different level of support at 200's than a 50 or 100.
I mean,
it's days.
they're exhausted too. They're not sleeping.
yeah.
They're not eating the same. I
Because
mean,
those aid stations are not easy to get to.
no,
right?
they're not.
They're driving
In fact,
hard.
Something that was so hard about Bigfoot, my husband, my crew, drove about 600 miles.
Right.
To
That's
get
what
to
Ben
the
was
aid
telling
stations.
us.
Yeah,
It was very, very hard on my crew. And that's something that people don't realize is your family and friends aren't sleeping either.
Right.
They feel like they've been beat up too when it's done. It's a whole different level of crewing.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Just,
Yeah,
like you
they
said,
are
just from that support side.
Yeah, amazing.
And you're doing
I'm
this
super
again next year?
She's doing one.
No, she just said you're doing all three, right?
No,
she
Oh.
said she's just doing Tahoe.
Just Tahoe.
Yeah.
In fact,
Because they're doing it reverse, so
I know, 'cause
yeah,
it's
I
gotta
gotta
do
that.
that.
You
Yeah.
know, I got to get in on that.
Well, I saw him announce that on Facebook, and everybody's like, "Yeah, we can run it backwards."
I know.
And I was like,
You guys
What's wrong with these people?
Exactly.
"It's still 200 miles on the same trail."
It's like saying we get to run it with our eyes closed.
Yeah.
"Oh, we got to come down that peak downhill now." It's like, okay, we got to run up the other side of that mountain. So you're doing that one next year, and it's because that's your favorite one. Is it family too? I mean, is there just a lot of things fall together for that one?
Family there, and I just love the terrain. I love that area.
So that's when's Tahoe? Like
don't know.
September. So she doesn't. That's next year. We got plenty of time for sushi rolls,
Yeah,
kielbasa
exactly.
rolls. So you're going to be doing. I think it's in first of It's usually same time as Wasatch.
Right.
Yeah.
It
So you got
is.
the
Yeah.
Tahoe 200 in September. You've
Right.
got Hard Rock in July.
Yep.
Oh,
That's
are you
right.
counting me in?
Well,
Because I'm in this
where
chair.
you're sitting. Yeah,
Sweet.
that's the
Okay,
shingle
I'll
chair.
plan on it.
We'll call that the
The
shingle.
chair.
That's the new name for it.
No.
So what other thing? Do you have other races you're eyeballing?
I'm
or
just
Besides Gibbs Walls.
Gib Wallace,
that
Nordic.
one.
I mean,
Right.
those are hard to get into though.
Fair enough.
Filling up quick.
Oh.
So what else? What else do you have stuff that
I
you want to do?
love Scout Mountain.
Yeah.
I love River of No Return. I like to do those. I'll do
Okay.
El Vaquero.
How many
I love
years have
those
you done
races.
that?
I think this might be my 5th year.
Oh yeah.
I want the buckle.
You want the buckle?
I got mine this year.
That thing's rad, huh?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to have some special like pants to keep it on.
That's
though,
true.
I don't
'cause
wear
it's-
pants, so
You
I'm
got the-
getting mine
Oh,
in a
perfect.
wooden
That's
box.
true. He does not wear pants. No pantalones.
I wear shorts for the listeners. It's not like I
They're
sit in a
gonna
bus
fall-
in my
they're
skivvies.
They're gonna pull your shorts down.
I
That
know.
buckle's
That's why
so
I don't
big.
wear it.
You
I
got to do a
know.
bunch of deadlifting too to get that back
I
right.
am. I
It's-
can
it's-
actually probably clean and do
Press.
clean and jerks
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
with that buckle.
You could.
Yeah, for my training.
Oh, if
awesome.
you got 10 years in, you get 2 buckles.
I don't know if
perfect.
anybody's done 10.
Wait, I don't
I don't know.
think anybody
I
has.
don't think so.
Oh man.
I'm not. I'm
Yeah,
volunteering
you're-
next year.
you're
I did
retired.
I hit my 5, and I'm like, I'm gonna help now. So you got El Vaquero, Scout. What when you doing at Scout since they changed the
Ooh, they
the
got 50
mileages?
miler or 100 miler now.
The 100.
Uh,
Sure.
She looks like, what kind of question is that?
Really, it was. It was just kind of like, it was like borderline snotty of, well, what? What do you think?
She's looking at us
Because
like-
all of a sudden I'm thinking, oh, I didn't know that. Perfect. I'll do the
She's
100.
looking at us like, who are you
You
clowns?
Dumbasses.
No,
The 100,
I would
duh.
never call anyone that.
To their
Except
face.
Claire.
Yeah, exactly.
Except Claire. Just kidding.
So that's still
And I
pretty.
love Grand Canyon, the Grand Canyon.
that's
Oh yeah.
the
gone,
trail
isn't it?
series. They don't do 100, but they do a 50 miler, and it's
Okay.
beautiful.
That's early on, right?
That's in
It's
May.
in May.
May,
It's the
okay.
first day they open the North Rim.
Right.
so
And
that's
it's so pretty to be. There's very little elevation change, but
Mhm.
it's so awesome to be on top of the
That plateau.
above it
Mhm.
and just looking down. So I feel like that one's a good that's a good start of the year because I'm not quite up to speed.
You a winter person? Ski?
I love skiing.
Okay, so
Okay.
that's your
I
thing
grew up
during
in
the
Park
winter.
City, and they put
Okay.
me on a bus when I was little, shoved me out the door in Park West. And
That's awesome.
what are these shoes? They hurt. So, and then last year I picked up skate skiing.
Uh-oh.
I
Nice.
tell you what, you feel like you're in shape until you put on 2-inch pairs of skis and try to glide on them.
Yeah. No, it's
You
a whole
feel
different
like a
ball game.
loser.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I know.
So hard.
It's one of my favorite
so
things
hard.
to start the day, loser.
Is it?
Yeah.
Feel like a loser?
Yeah, man. Nothing comes together till you feel that way.
Oh my God. You got nowhere to go but up.
That's right.
It is that the North Fork. I go up there and
Yeah.
it starts uphill. There's no time to group.
I like that.
So that's good cross training.
Well, it's like he just said that it's they're rock bottom, but someone said, "Oh, did you know there's a basement in the rock bottom?" So you can even go deeper.
Oh,
so I haven't
that's
found that one
true.
yet. So
I
I
have
heard that
found
one
that.
just like the other day.
I think I found that basement in Moab.
Yeah, well, I'm
By
imagining
Uwa
you
Lake?
did.
Yeah. Yeah. Uwa Lake is
Uwa.
that's a dirty word.
It's like sounds like a marine word. Ooh,
Ooh,
like a
it
marine.
does, huh?
does?
Yeah,
Like a
I know what you mean.
shaka.
Yeah.
I don't know.
shaka.
What?
She's like, what?
Just kidding. Can I take that back?
No, too
Nope,
late.
it's
We're not
on
even editing
record.
that. So yeah, you've got a pretty stout year again next year.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I just sign up for what looks fun, and then
Which means
try to
everything.
make it
Yeah.
try to make it work in my schedule. Honey, can you get this day off?
Your
I'm
husband-
going to need 4 nights from you. Does that work
Oh
out?
my gosh, that's right.
He's gonna change the security settings on your home computer where
Yeah,
all the
exactly.
sign up will be blocked.
know.
Yeah, it's gotta be a
On
double
the credit
login.
cards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
No
So
payments
does he
accepted
race
from
too,
Ultra.
or because he
He
runs
is a
with you?
racer. Yeah,
Okay.
he's a runner. He has problems with his hip. He did like kung fu and MMA fighting and all that kind of stuff
Ooh.
when he was
Younger.
and he did Olympic lifting, and he has something that they call dancer's hip.
Oh,
Ooh,
you started
tell us about
laughing. I
that.
was worried what was
I
coming.
know.
Giggling.
Dancer's
So your
hip.
husband has dancer's hip.
Dancer's
Okay.
hip, yeah. So sometimes it'll.
Sometimes the dancer's hip flares.
That tutu comes out.
I know.
Oh, that poor
It's
guy.
so funny. I'm like, your poor dancer's hip,
Oh.
but it will he just seizes up. So he will now. He started doing 50Ks because he can typically go that distance and
Right.
be okay. But he loves the trails too.
Nice, cool. That makes
Yeah.
it good. That's just
So he's understanding about the passion.
Mhm.
I think it'd be hard if he.
well. Doesn't he
There's
feel that
other
way
couple-
towards coaching CrossFit
yeah,
too?
for
though?
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So he just is my coach. He's good at that. He's good at, moving me along.
And that works for you guys, like him
It
crewing or
works.
pacing, because you hear some
Yeah.
couples that not something they do anymore.
I think he's probably doesn't like me very much sometimes, but he's super patient. You
Mhm.
know, he'll just say, "Come on, babe, keep moving," and I say, "How do you think I got here? I am moving."
You don't have to worry. You got dancer's hip.
It's
No, he's extremely patient, but I say whatever I say after 70 miles, do not hold me accountable.
right.
That's right. It's off. It's
He
like
knows
being
that.
in Vegas.
I mean, he takes the good with the bad,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the only person that you can probably do that with.
Oh, for sure.
So he's awesome.
So do you see 200's growing?
I do.
Do you?
I especially feel like Moab, we have such a huge running community in
Mhm.
Utah,
Yeah.
and that is an area that a lot of people are familiar with.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that the first year can always be scary trying that out, and it is
Right.
an intimidating distance. But I think that when people saw the finishing rate and then Courtney
Mm-hmm.
finishing in 50 hours, I think
Which is insane.
57
She
hours.
had a basketball game to get to.
She did. She had
Honestly,
those basketball shorts on.
unbelievable.
That's crazy.
I think that people will start to consider that and think this might be manageable. And the elevation, I mean, that was probably the easiest course compared to
But it was
all of them.
also 40 miles longer
Yeah,
than
but
the standard 200.
yeah. But there's very little elevation change, so there is parts that are it's more runnable than any of
Right.
the other courses. So I think that people will look at that and consider it
Yeah.
being feasible.
Is
So
that kind of your, like when
know.
your friends talk to you or people that run with you,
people don't talk to me.
Yeah.
they don't they don't talk
They
to
don't
her.
talk
don't
about
have
running,
friends.
do they?
You don't have friends. I don't have time for those people.
That's right.
So do you sell? People ask you and you sell it to them like you need to do this.
Yeah.
No, I think it's hard to sell to people.
Yeah.
You can sell
If
like a marathon.
Yeah.
Right.
If it comes up, people, there is an audible pause. If it does come up, there is always a pause. People's reaction, and they think you're either a liar or, wait, is it like a relay? I get asked all
that's
the
the
time if it's a relay
That drives me nuts.
Yeah.
or if it's a stage race.
Or you do it all in one day.
Yes, I
Yeah.
do.
I
it
try.
one day.
That's right. That damn dirt nap gets in the way.
I know, man. If I didn't have to sleep,
Yeah.
I wasn't human.
Yeah.
But what were you talking about?
Do you like you selling it to your friends?
Right.
No.
So you don't like say,
No.
oh, you've got to try
Man,
this.
if you make someone do that, they would hate it.
Oh
You
my
have
God.
to love
right?
it.
I mean, they might die.
I choose to
Truly.
do it, and I sometimes hate it. So you have to be certain that you want to be out there and decide why you're doing it, and you have to remember why you're doing it because I cannot tell you how many times you hate yourself for doing it.
Well, so what would you tell the people that are listening right now? Because it is picking up more and more steam.
Absolutely.
And there's people listening to the show that have heard podcasts and us talking about it. What would you tell somebody out there that's, I'd say, even on the fence, like, man, I really want to do this, but I'm scared, I'm nervous, I don't know if I can. What would you tell them?
I feel like don't limit yourself to those fears. Of course, trying something that you've never done before is going to be scary, but you never know how far you can go. What's the worst that's going to happen? You know, you have to drop at an aid station. Does that make you a bad person? No. I mean, if you want to do it, I feel like give it a shot. Train for it. Your body and your mind can be capable of so much more than you give yourself credit for. And I feel like if you are a runner and you have passion for that and you've done 100, you can pull off a 200. I do feel like that. These are different pace. The cutoff times are pretty generous. They make it feasible so you can take time at the aid stations. You can take time to rest. It's a different pace. It's a whole different ball game. And I feel like people are intimidated by obviously you're going to be intimidated by the mileage, but you can't compare it to like a marathon. You're not going to be going the same pace you are at a marathon. You're not even going to be going the same pace you are at a 100. It just it can't. The two can it
can't compare them.
Cannot be compared.
Right.
And so I feel like that fear, I just give it a shot. You know, what's
She's
the worst
looking
can
at you.
happen?
Not looking at me, man.
She's
What is
looking
the worst
totally
can
at you.
happen, Joel?
She is looking
she
at
just said
you.
your name. Well, Joel's almost on the sign-up list.
No, what? No.
Why?
She wants to try something. 200, no pacer, no crew.
Or, if you want to see what it's all about, go volunteer at an aid station. It's amazing to be there.
Right.
I mean, I'm not inspired. I'm inspired by all the others people around me. You know
Right.
how bad they're suffering, and they can get up out of that aid station and keep going too. Like you're surrounded by these amazing people who are just like-minded, and go check it out. See what
Right.
it's like. Go to an aid station.
If you got an extra 3 or 4 days.
Just one day. You don't have to go the whole time.
You got to well, by the time they get there,
Candace,
right?
I have 12 hours.
I
What
got-
do you want
where
me to
do you
do?
need me? Where do
Yeah.
you need me?
Exactly.
I need you to
Yeah.
go find these people. There's somewhere over
I
there.
say do it.
My takeaway from our conversations so far with
Is
100
you're going to sign up for Tahoe because you want to run it backwards? Yay!
And
I'm
the-
so
and
happy.
she means the route backwards. You don't have to run it backwards.
Yeah, exactly.
You can backpedal it. You can
There you
backpedal
go.
it.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
that would
sign
be
me
so
up.
hard.
That would be
Just
awful.
backpedal it.
It actually might feel good every once in a while to walk backwards.
Can you imagine doing there are like official world records for running backwards in the marathon.
did
Could you like a 50 mile or 100 miles doing it backwards?
No.
Those hamstrings would just be.
Well, do you know
Anyways.
that Antron Kopitschka at Leadville did that once, right? His legs
Because
were
he was-
hurting. He had
yeah.
to turn
Oh,
around
that's
and run
right.
I feel like-
backwards.
Well, my friend Katie Graff, her coach, said just, change it up. And she literally turned backwards.
Right.
And
I'd
it was
doing
it
some
hit
side
different
shuffling.
points on her
doing
feet.
some grapevine on the trail.
If you hit your heel on a rock, no, going backwards, it's game over.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, because your toes
shatter
are
your
so
tailbone.
sore. It would probably feel good.
No, you'd shatter your tailbone.
All right, well, you can tell us how that works out next year.
Make sure to shoot
I'm
some
not
video.
going to.
All right. So, anyways, my takeaway
Sorry.
from these conversations so far is sleep
Mm-hmm.
only 20 to 40 minutes at
Yep.
a time.
You hit that second REM cycle or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's been the big one so far.
Yeah, just to get back to
Just to
functioning
try
state.
reset, right?
Reset. It
And
does. It works.
Don't rush in aid stations. I'm
Don't
getting
rush
that.
aid stations.
Be ready to go.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, think about it. But go in there with purpose. But
Yeah.
don't rush it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be lackadaisical in there,
Right.
but you also can't leave prematurely.
Right. Or you're gonna get crushed.
Fulfill your necessities,
Mhm.
and then take a deep breath and
Get a move
will
on.
yourself out of there.
Right. And then the last one is don't get silty.
Don't
Do
get silty.
not
Don't
get in
silty,
that water.
all right?
Or make sure you have 8x10 gauze.
Yeah.
And someone who will apply it.
Go to
Yeah.
Alpha Graphics, have them print you some
3D
11 by
print.
17 gauze.
3D print some new skin.
So it looks like a shirt.
Oh no! Lesson learned.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. I mean, that's the thing, though, is you hear people dropping from hundreds, 50s for worse or not as worse as something like that
Oh, yeah.
during a 200. That's why part of it, what I'm taking from is just your drive and your will to,
Right.
your mental game
You
is
do.
just,
I feel
It's
like,
the next level. Really,
I
it
feel
is.
like regardless of your training,
she was
that's-
pointing at you
I
on
know,
that
I
one.
appreciate
regardless
that.
of your
Thank you.
training,
Yes.
Joel, it's gonna come. It comes down to mental. It is at some point.
You're right. I agree.
Can't stop laughing
Why?
because I just can't. I'm hallucinating.
His cheese curd level's getting low.
It's totally low,
Someone
man.
throw him a sushi roll.
Yeah,
Oh, I
exactly.
need one of those Domare
Tabata.
gato rolls you do.
Tomari.
Tomato roll.
Tabata.
Tabata.
Yeah, your
Toboggan.
Tabata roll.
The toboggan roll. Oh,
Could
man.
be onto something.
I
What
totally
could we put
already
in there?
am.
Grilled
Yeah.
cheese.
Just a
Quesadilla.
cheese, deep
Wrapped in
fried cheese
quesadilla.
curd
Mhm.
wrapped in kale.
Wrapped in kale.
You got to have some, like,
Help.
yeah, right.
Conscious.
a salad.
A
Item.
shred of like healthiness on
It's
there.
just a shred. It's a salad roll. That's what it is.
Okay.
Cheese
Boring.
on top. That's all. It's going to be new. You'll see.
You'll see.
But yeah, it's just crazy to just think about all of the stuff that goes into this because again we've talked to Ben, and his approach is different than yours.
Yep.
His recap of some of the stuff is different than yours. We have your side, you know, which is a whole nother level. And the sad thing is
and it works.
and
Hers works.
but we're
right?
trying to talk about 272 hours and 55 minutes in a show, right? I mean, there's just so much that goes on,
Right.
and you're going to
Weird.
leave here. We're going to turn the mics off.
Yeah.
We're going to be putting stuff away, and you go, "Oh, I should have told you about
I know.
and something." We're
I
going,
know.
"No,"
It's crazy.
because there's so much that goes on, and,
Right.
you know, coming. I'm just glad you agreed to jump on the microphone with us.
Absolutely.
You know,
Getting the bus with a couple
Pleasure.
of dingy old dudes.
yeah, right. Just hey, meet me here at this parking lot.
Yeah, exactly right.
I mean, I've seen a couple cars drive by.
I know,
so
right?
I know
Those are your friends checking on you.
They are,
Oh, yeah.
man. It's like, yeah,
You're
I've got
going to a van with two guys you've never met
in a parking lot up in
a
the
parking
mountains.
lot?
Yeah, there's what could go
I'm
wrong?
telling
I know.
You're
course
not
we
going to
know
mess with
that-
a girl who's done Triple Crown series.
No, and
No,
husband
hell
husband that does kung fu,
he's a
MMA,
kung fu, yeah.
and can dance
He's got the
dancer.
dancers
Dancer's hip.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's a
We're-
little slower these days
Yeah.
because of it.
We're not gonna. We'll sit here and cry. But boy, I mean, thanks for taking the time
Thank
yeah,
you.
thank
to
you
sit
for
down.
your interest.
Oh, for sure. I mean, once we saw number one, I mean, who you were and where you were located, and you know the whole 200 mile. Not that Western States and Bear. I mean, your resume is stout,
Mhm.
really. I mean, you've
Thank
done
you.
some
Legit.
That's funny.
regardless. I mean, you're past the veteran stage, right?
Right.
You've leveled up in the video game.
Oh, sweet. I've never
you like-
been good at
yeah.
this, so that is good.
That's
Yeah.
a good one. But yeah, it's just crazy. I mean,
Right.
first female finisher of the Triple Crown.
Yep.
You know, overall,
Mhm.
and the time and effort and the team behind you to put in. That's
Yeah, they were amazing.
huge. I mean, that's a big deal. And I mean, next you got
Thank
what?
you.
Barclays is next. Then we
Well,
got
Totally.
you know
Hard Rock.
It's 'cause
Hard
I'm
Rock
in the
this year.
seat.
Yeah, Hard
Yeah, yeah,
Rock.
yeah.
Well, you go Smut, 100, Hard Rock, and then Vaquero.
Yeah. and then my alarm on my phone will go off. We'll get you ready to sign up for Barkley.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. You
And
let me know
Learn some engineering.
what you
orienteering.
Orienteering. Same
I
thing.
know.
skills.
My brother-in-law Brooks said, "I'll teach you orienteering. I'm just going to put you in the middle of the Uintas, and I'm going to tell you to find me."
Oh, there you go.
Oh, that'll work.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Yeah.
I know.
Don't
I
lay-
need to do that.
And there's not a lot of silt in the
No,
Uintas,
there's
so you
not.
should be spot on.
I am
You
gonna.
can-
I'm gonna dip my finger in water from
Before
now
you do-
on.
that's a
before
good idea.
lick.
If
Yes.
it feels silty, you're like, I'm out.
I'm out.
There's
Done.
any silt on my tongue. I'm backing away.
I've never thought of that because I get in
Water all the time.
That's all I
Right?
do.
I love it.
I've
He's
never
like the
thought of
naughty
that.
puppy.
I am the naughty puppy. I'll take it. The naughty. That's gonna
Who
be.
doesn't love a puppy?
And that is my new Instagram account. Naughty puppy. That's my personal one.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's. I'll be naughty puppy 24 probably.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
funny.
seriously, thanks for agreeing to sit
Absolutely.
down and taking the time. I know you have a busy
Thanks for your
schedule with
interest.
everything you do, but who couldn't be? I mean, our listeners
Right.
are going to love it. I
Yeah.
mean, for sure. This is why we do what we do as
Exactly.
well.
Awesome.
You know,
You guys
is
are
to
awesome.
to hear the stories and just meet people that do amazing things.
Thank you.
It doesn't need to be what people consider elite, like you
Right.
said early on. It's normal, everyday people that are the.
I am
They have the
that.
best
I'm
stories.
every
They
day.
do most inspiring
I
for
am
sure.
most normal.
Most normal. I'll hashtag that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thanks again for joining
Thank
us
you.
today up here at
My
beautiful Nordic Valley, right by your home here. And good
Home
luck.
of the 7K.
The home of the
Home
7.
of the Nordic Valley 7K.
Yeah,
December 16th.
8 a.m.
8 a.m. start.
Register by December 1st. Yeah, thanks again. Good luck with everything else you got coming
Thank
up too.
you. Thank you.
It's awesome to
It's
see.
always a mystery what will come in 2018.
And I was telling Joel, I'm like, we are so lucky to be in Utah with all these amazing
Oh, you
athletes
could-
and
Yeah.
runners and people.
I wasn't going to say that, but yes,
Oh.
thank you.
I know what
I
she was
thought
going
we
to
were
say.
on the same wavelength. Darn it.
Not yet. We need one more interview.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing is we always have people on more than once too.
That's
So
right.
Yeah.
The next thing you conquer, we'll be knocking.
Anytime
Mm-hmm.
I'm up for a lottery, make sure I will sit in this chair.
Right.
Right. We got
Wipe
you.
it
We got
clean
you
of
good for
shingles.
next year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
that's
good.
true. There's a spray for that somewhere.
Yeah,
I'm
and
sure.
I'll send out the ultra sign up link to sit in the chair. You got to register
Oh, there you go.
just to sit in
You're
the
not
chair.
making money. There's a way.
There it
right
is.
there.
That's a good way.
Show's going to stay on the air for another year.
That's
now
right.
because of the chair. Yeah, thanks for coming on. I mean, episode 104, I think. If
Yes.
we've already covered
Nice
that.
work.
So
Wow.
awesome. So thanks for joining us. We'll
Thank you.
get this out to our listeners. I can't wait to. I'm excited to see what everybody thinks of this one, man.
Yeah.
This is top
Yeah?
notch.
It'll be fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
wow. Honored.
Yeah, we
Honored.
are. Thank you, and yeah, good luck in the future.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for listening to the Trail Manners podcast. We'd like to thank Sylvia Greer for taking the time to join us and sharing her amazing stories of the Triple Crown. We also encourage everybody to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Trail Manners, or swing by the website at trailmanners.com. There, we still have our swag and ride sale going, so grab yourself some gear, or you can hit us up on the contact page. Let us know what you want to see, who you want to hear, or if you would like to be on the show. Until next time, this is Eric Manning with Joel Hatch reminding you, you don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. Now go get it.